Chapter 1774. The God-defying talent was almost useless against creatures below the God level. However, against creatures above the God level, especially true gods, the higher the divinity, the more powerful it was. Demon Emperor-level experts had the same demonic aura as divinity, and they would also be judged as God-level experts by the talent. Rumble. A burning orange talisman with the word defying engraved on it suddenly bloomed above Lin Chen's head. When the talisman exploded, it instantly merged into Lin Chen's body. At this moment, Lin Chen's cultivation and pure strength skyrocketed. His saint points broke through to 124, and he instantly broke through to the saint heart realm. The most terrifying thing was that after Lin Chen wore the Aries set, his pure strength skyrocketed for the third time. This was the first time the 5-piece Aries set showed the power of 1/10,000,000th of the complete set. The God-defying talent temporarily increased Lin Chen's cultivation and pure strength, and it had an effect similar to the God Slayer talent. Lin Chen then used the God-defying talent's enhancement to raise the Aries set's upgrade limit. His attacks also carried the God-defying talent's attack characteristics. He still has a trump card? Attack. Don't give him a chance to breathe. The 4 Demon Emperor's sons, Wu Pianju and Ying Jiufeng, reacted the fastest and used their killer moves. The 9 Divine Phoenixes merged, and the 9 Phoenixes merged, forming a myriad of birds bowing to the phoenix. When a sound wave roared, it was mixed with a vast amount of primordial energy. Wu Pianju used her sword, which was formed purely by half-god and half-saint power. She raised her sword high and slashed down violently. Nangong Jichen and Nangong Xianyuan gathered all their saber intent and used their strongest attack. The 4 Demon Emperor's afterimages appeared, forming endless afterimages. There was an extinct 9-headed demon snake, a headless 8-armed heavenly demon that had disappeared in the long history of the demon race, and so on. Many kinds of majestic demonic bodies appeared in the space-time dimension and surged over. Every move was comparable to a quasi-god's shocking attack, and they all came crashing down on Lin Chen. If this attack erupted from the sword domain, just this wave of attack alone would be enough to wipe out more than 80% of the creatures in the sword domain. A region was so vast that even a sage would need several decades to travel through the void. Gods, on the other hand, only needed one move. Gods could create worlds, and they could also destroy worlds. Quasi-gods were already beginning to approach this domain. However, Lin Chen seemed to follow his instincts and pulled his 5 fingers horizontally. With this tug, divine power shook the heavens, and ghosts and gods were annihilated. His strength overturned the universe, and a peerless divine power that could destroy ghosts and gods erupted from his 5 fingers. 5 golden divine radiance flashed over from the void. Boom! Bang! 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 All the attacks were torn apart and turned into fragments of light that scattered in the ultra-spacetime dimension. Bang! All the experts retreated explosively, and Ying Jiufeng and Wu Pianju, who were at the front, were in the most miserable state. They actually spat out a large amount of blood. The 2 of them were horrified. He clearly had the defenses of his divine blood and the will of the divine phoenix protecting him. So how was it that the shock waves were able to break through his defenses and enter his body? How is this possible? Just what level has his strength reached? I've only felt this kind of pressure from the true gods of the human race. His attack can penetrate my divine blood defense? I can only take it head-on and not block it head-on? Before he finished speaking, Holy Ruler Thousand Fox and Nangong Jichen's faces stiffened, and they were filled with disbelief. Crack! Crack! Bang! The 2 of them exploded on the spot. Their holy bodies and essence spirits were reduced to ashes. So strong? Even Lin Chen was filled with shock, and he looked as if he had picked up a treasure. He couldn't even sense what level his pure strength had reached now. Lin Chen instantly felt that his pure strength had broken through to a very mysterious level. In the past, when he had obtained a substantial increase in pure strength, it was as if his strength had increased by a large margin. However, the most direct feedback to Lin Chen now was that his strength had taken form. For example, Lin Chen could control the strength of a full-strength punch and condense it into a finger. He could even condense all his pure strength and burst it out with a look after spending some time. This was an absolute transformation, and it was definitely not a simple increase in strength. It was more like the concept of pure strength had changed into a new level. The increase in strength was not only an increase in strength, but more importantly, it was control. Lin Chen raised his hand and grabbed at Ing Jiufeng. He, who was still vomiting blood, immediately froze in the air, and a strange gurgling sound came from his throat. He was like a chicken that had been grabbed by the neck by Lin Chen. An indescribable pure strength suppressed the nine-headed phoenix phantom behind him, and it couldn't move. The descendants of the 4 fiend emperors felt their scalps go numb. The will of the 9 great divine phoenixes was actually lifted up by Lin Chen like a chicken. What kind of power is this? I'll let you possess my body. Lin Chen punched. The wind from his punch pierced through the 9 heavens and 10 earths and pierced through Ing Jiufeng. Ing Jiufeng's bones cracked and his eyeballs popped out. I'll let you destroy the world. Lin Chen's left fist followed and golden light burst out. With a flash of divine radiance, his fist landed on Ing Jiufeng's handsome face. Lin Chen, we still have things to talk about. My Genesis Alliance, and Ing Jiufeng used the last of his strength to send a voice transmission to beg for mercy. Genesis my ass. Lin Chen roared. Your Genesis Alliance was already sent back to its hometown by me, and you're still acting so shamelessly? Die. Lin Chen punched again and again, and the light was distorted. Even the light was shattered into nothingness by him. The dimension beyond time could be said to be chaotic. You're in the top 10 of the Saint Talent rankings, and you insist on killing mortals. Without that bit of providence, are you going to eat sh*t? Is it so hard to give us mortals a way to live? Lin Chen used all his strength and punched again and again. With a wave of his arm, a terrifying gust of wind swept up and hit Ing Jiufeng fiercely. His 9 great divine phoenixes became dimmer and dimmer. Ing Jiufeng was completely beaten to a pulp. His flesh was torn, and his divine bones were shattered. The moment the 9 great divine phoenixes disappeared, Ing Jiufeng was crushed by Lin Chen's punch, and there was nothing left of him. The descendants of the demon emperor were dumbfounded. You mortals? This Lin Chen called himself a mortal? Is this the combat power of a mortal? Ing Jiufeng's Providence plant pouch was then destroyed by Lin Chen, and a large number of treasures were destroyed by Lin Chen into attribute light balls. A dazzling green attribute light shot into the sky. After Ing Jiufeng died, he dropped a green attribute treasure chest. Lin Chen grabbed it in his hand. Congratulations, host. You've obtained a Godhead attribute treasure chest. Upon opening, you'll obtain Immortal Godhead Fragment, 1/3, an energy-type Godhead. When the system screen popped up, Lin Chen didn't even care about what he had obtained, let alone the attribute light balls around him. The God-Defiant and God-Slayer talents both had a time limit. He wanted to kill all these guys before the time limit was up. The strongest descendant of the Demon Emperor, the top 10 of the Saint Talent rankings, he would crush them all. Chapter 1775. If the time limit of the 2 talents was up, Lin Chen's basic cultivation would return to its original level after losing the 2 trump cards. The holy body and the foundation of cultivation at that time couldn't support the pure power of the war god set. RIP. At this moment, Yang Qianfan was the first to recover. He dared to attack Lin Chen with the Overlord halberd burning with divine blood. Stepping on raging flames, he burst forth with a speed that surpassed all Saint Realm experts. In the blink of an eye, he arrived above Lin Chen's head and furiously slashed down with his halberd. Lin Chen raised his head. His eyes, which were shining with orange divine light, focused. Pure energy condensed into two giant walls, blocking Yang Qianfan's tyrant halberd from the left and right. Suddenly, the halberd was stopped in midair. "You bunch of idiots, hurry up and attack. Are you waiting for him to kill us?" Yang Qianfan's angry roar woke everyone up. Before they had the chance to cooperate, Lin Chen swung his leg like a battle axe, sending Yang Qianfan flying and crushing one of his arms. 8 ultimate slashes of the Einherjar. 8 streaks of light flashed. Wu Pianzhi's attack was so fast that only quasi-gods could react in time. Clang! Clang! Lin Chen was pushed back thousands of feet. The golden light spread, but Lin Chen was unharmed. Sneak attack? Unfortunately, I'm harder than you. Lin Chen's 5 fingers pressed forward, and a destructive force burst out as he attacked Wu Pianzhi. Oh no! Wu Pianzhi raised his sword to block, but when the golden light shone on it, the Einherjar sword in his hand suddenly shattered. His Einherjar sword was similar to the Einherjar's unique skill and was not a real divine weapon. After the attack was suppressed, it was shattered by Lin Chen's palm strike. The remaining force of Lin Chen's palm slammed into Wu Pianzhi's chest like a raging dragon. It penetrated all of his defenses, shattered his ribs, and completely crushed his saint heart. Wu Pianzhi's eyes were dull, and his face was filled with disbelief. How could his divine blood defense be penetrated again? Why is this happening? I've already obtained my father's divine blood, so I should be the winner. Wu Pianzhi had fallen and dropped a large number of attribute light balls and a snow-white treasure chest with special attributes. Lin Chen casually grabbed the attribute treasure chest. Obtained a treasure chest with special divinity attributes. When the system screen popped up, Lin Chen glanced over it. It was as if he had been struck by lightning. His face was filled with ecstasy. A hexagonal crystal-like jadeite godhead fragment with half an elephant's body sealed within it floated before Lin Chen's eyes. Congratulations, host. Upon opening, you will obtain Divine Elephant Divinity Fragment, 3/3, Divinity Item Divinity. The complete divinity has been automatically placed in the divinity pane. You can use it after the cooldown is over. The third Divine Elephant, Shard of Divinity. Wu Pianzhi's death had actually allowed Lin Chen to obtain the final Divine Elephant Godhead Fragment. Sure enough, Wu Pianzhi's divine blood dropped some good stuff. Lin Chen was overjoyed. He suppressed the ecstasy in his heart and looked at the other saint talents. Wu Pianzhi's death had completely sent chills down the spines of the remaining 5 saint talents, the 4 demon arch-descendants, and the true dragon Holy King. They felt a fatal sense of danger and fear. You'll be injured with one hit. Be careful. What kind of monster is this guy? I want to go back. Why did I provoke this monster? He's not human at all. After entering the god's reversal state, the enemy could either avoid Lin Chen's attacks and fight him or take his attacks head-on. Furthermore, they had to take them head-on and not be swept by any of the attack's aftershocks. Otherwise, all defenses would be useless if they were hit. This was practically bullying. No, bullying a god. They could attack but couldn't defend. However, Lin Chen could still defend. Wasn't this King bullying a god? Lin Chen's aura was overbearing. He took a step forward and crushed the billowing air wave. His hands were like sharp blades that pierced through Jin Tai's 9-winged golden crow. Rip, bam, bam. The golden light collapsed and exploded continuously. Jin Tianyi let out a shrill scream. No, Lin Chen. This young master admits defeat. You're the saint talent lists. Lin Chen raised his hand and slapped Jin Tai's head, turning him into a human skin on the spot. A pile of attribute light balls exploded and 2 gold and orange attribute treasure chests floated. Host opened 2 special treasure attribute treasure chests. Obtained 1 top-grade gold attribute odd crystal and 1 top-grade fire attribute odd crystal. Chi. Boom. Boom. The 8-armed giant devil that Yaoyue Chonger had transformed into roared furiously as he swung his giant pillar-like demonic arms at Lin Chen's head. The 9-headed demon snake, transformed by the red moon Moji, spat out a giant storm of corrosive poison mist. Holy kings would die if they touched it, and those below the reincarnation sacred realm couldn't resist it. Zhu Jiusheng's sky-burying demonic chi condensed into an endless giant palm that smashed down. Have you all gone mad? Good, I'll get rid of you all in one go. Lin Chen pushed his palms towards the sky and divine light exploded. His god strength that could sweep through 3,000 worlds exploded and collided with Yu Chonger's 8 demon arms. Lin Chen clenched his fist and completely crushed the 8-armed giant demon. With a backhand slap, he sent Chong Er flying and crippled him. At the same time, Lin Chen took a deep breath and his aura swallowed the mountains and rivers. Even the light was sucked away by him. In the next moment, when Lin Chen opened his mouth and exhaled, he spat out billowing waves of air that could destroy the heavens. Like a cosmic storm, it blew away all the corrosive poison mist. The red moon Moji was sent flying and her seductive face was filled with disbelief. Just a breath of energy from his dantian was enough to overturn her 9-headed demon snake. Lin Chen turned around like lightning and kicked towards the sky, crushing the sky-burying Devil Emperor's son's shocking palm. Jin Wuxie and Nangong Xianyuan attacked from the left and right. It was as if he had gone mad, pressing forward courageously. Lin Chen crushed their attacks with a finger and a palm. The other 2 Devil Emperor descendants attacked again. Lin Chen's aura continued to rise and he continued to beat them as if he had entered an unstoppable realm. Everyone's eyes turned red. They fell into a frenzied state. The remaining saint geniuses and Devil Emperor descendants had already lost their normal rationality and state of mind. They weren't prepared to die yet. They didn't even think about the possibility of dying in this encirclement of Lin Chen. As the peak experts of the human race and the devil race, they were the most respected existences in terms of movement skills. They were the strongest existences below the human race's gods and the devil race's devil emperors. Even if they met an enemy they couldn't beat, it wasn't a problem for them to escape. So, they weren't prepared to die in battle. But in this battle with Lin Chen, they truly felt the fear of death. They couldn't run or defend, they could only fight. If they won, they would eliminate the enemy in their hearts. If they lost, they would be consigned to eternal damnation. Lin Chen's fists were like falling stars, tearing open a hole in their joint attack. First, it was the Red Moon Devil Concubine, who was smashed into pieces by Lin Chen. Then, it was Nangong Xianyuan, who exploded with a punch and turned into nothingness. Then, it was heaven-burying Devil Emperor's son, Zhu Jiusheng. Bang! 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 Zhu Jiusheng's devil body shattered like glass and was smashed into pieces by Lin Chen. The human race that Royal Father wants is actually this strong? Everyone says that the human race is a scammer, but my race is a scammer. I can't accept this. Zhu Jiusheng died with regret. Annihilation. Annihilation. Crazy annihilation. Lin Chen's violent beating crushed all the experts in the ultra-space-time plane. Whether it was the human race's sacred boundary or the devil race's 4 great devil realms, they all exploded at this moment. Once these experts died, the situation of the 2 races would completely change. Chapter 1776. Desolate Demon and Devil World. The eastern part of the Devil World was filled with endless battles. Burning, killing, looting, and fighting. The devil race had always been a traditional trait. Boom. Boom. Devil clouds gathered. Of the dozens of stars in the Devil World, the 4 most dazzling stars suddenly dimmed and disappeared. At this moment, the devil race was shaken. The civil war came to an abrupt end. Countless devil race were shocked and aghast. The Devil Emperor's star represented the providence of the Devil Emperor's son. When the strong died, their providence returned to heaven and earth. Only a very small number of strong people had great potential and strength to affect their race. Their providence was connected to their race. The providence of the two were connected and complemented each other. Moreover, this kind of existence could affect the providence of a race. This kind of genius was also called the Saint Talent List. Only geniuses recognized by the providence of heaven and earth were qualified to enter the Saint Talent List. And the devil race were the descendants of the devil emperor. Now, the devil race's providence was weakened. The star that represented the providence of the devil emperor's descendants was destroyed. What did this mean? Complete death. Rumble. Bang. 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 In the desolate demon and devil world's extreme north star system, a terrifying demonic might erupted. It filled the sky and shattered countless stars and planes. Jiu Xing died in the human race? Could it be that those old fellows of the human race have come into being? Or did those true gods return? Even those old quasi-gods of the human race are not qualified to kill Jiu Xing. Don't tell me it's Lin Chen? Sacred Boundaries human race, Lin Chen brat. This emperor will remember this. Bloodthirsty demon world. The 9 blood seas angrily swept through the sky. An angry roar tore through the layers of planes. The heavenly demon supremacies of the bloodthirsty demon world were shaken until their blood boiled, and they knelt down in horror. A hoarse and vast demonic voice spread throughout the bloodthirsty demon world. Hongyue died in the human race's sacred boundary? Who is it? Who has this kind of combat power? She has this emperor's demonic origin energy, and can retreat even if she encounters a quasi-god. Go and find out what happened to the human race. From this day on, the 4 great demon races began to go berserk. Sacred boundary of the human race, the oldest Chen territory. At the summit of the mountain, a youth in scarlet clothes opened his eyes. Blood rain poured down from the sky. The blood-red clothed young man murmured to himself as a gloomy hurricane howled in the sky. A saint genius has fallen? In the sacred boundary, the sage monarch domain, everyone was shocked. At the top of the pitch-black ancient pagoda. This group of supreme masters, the weakest of whom was a saint king, were all staring at the Saint Talent List in their palms. The names on the Saint Talent List were dimming and disappearing at a speed visible to the naked eye. One after another, peerless names from the ancient times, one after another, the names that created history, were completely withdrawing from the stage of history. This kind of situation was unprecedented. The Saint Talent List had been overturned. Over 100 saint geniuses had perished in the sword domain. There had never been such a situation in history. There could only be one person who would massacre the Saint Talent List. Lin Chen. However, this seemed to be just a prelude. An elder with blue eyes said in a trembling voice as he pointed at the top of the Saint Talent List, feeling his scalp go numb and a chill run down his spine. Ing Jiufeng's name has disappeared. An overlord in the top 10 of the Saint Talent List had perished. And it was the leader of the founding era alliance, Ing Jiufeng. In other words, the result of that battle had been announced to the world through the Saint Talent List. Whoosh. Following that, another name dimmed. The 8th on the Saint Talent List, top blade of the world, Nangong Xianyuan, was dead. All the powerful masters felt a chill down their spines. Another top 10 on the Saint Talent List had died? One had to know that every top 10 on the Saint Talent List was a peerless figure who had created a new era. The lowest level they could achieve in the future was the Reincarnation Saint stage, the peak of the Saint Kings. And every generation's top 10 on the Saint Talent List was generally stronger than the previous generation. The death of one top 10 on the Saint Talent List was already a disaster. 2 dead? The entire sacred boundary would be shaken 3 times. However, it was as if this matter wasn't shocking enough. In the 36 domains of the sacred boundary, under the watchful eyes of all the powerful masters, the top names on the Saint Talent List quickly dimmed. The 7th on the Saint Talent List, Evil Lord Sunflower Jin Wuxie, was dead. The 6th on the Saint Talent list, Evil Moon Chong Er, was dead. The 5th on the Saint Talent list, 9 Sun Saint King Jin Tai, was also dead. The 4th on the Saint Talent list, Tyrant Lord Yang Qianfan, was dead. Many powerful masters fainted on the spot after witnessing this strange scene on the Saint Talent list. The entire sacred boundary suddenly changed. The providence of the human race was weakened again and again. Dead, they were all dead. Apart from Li Ziki, who was the 9th on the Saint Talent list, and the mysterious top 3 on the Saint Talent list, 6 of the top 10 on the Saint Talent list were dead. Was Lin Chen still human? This kid was going to pierce through the sacred boundary. A strange silence filled the hearts of all the powerful masters on the top of the tower. After a long while, it was unknown which one of the brothers had cursed. Motherf ****, why did they go and provoke this lunatic Lin Chen for no reason? In the space-time dimension, Lin Chen's pure power and cultivation suddenly decreased by a lot. The time limit of the God-defying talent had just ended, and the God-slayer talent still had a short period of time left. Obtained 2 million rune energy, 1,200,000 sacred grade cultivation technique essence, 900,000 top grade heaven path points, 32. 9 billion set essence, 100 million top grade talent points, 19. 3 billion mid grade strengthening points. Lin Chen's attribute value skyrocketed. The number of attribute points dropped by killing the Saint Geniuses and Demon Emperor's descendants could be said to be terrifying and unprecedented. Even if the God Slayer talent did not drop any growth attribute value, Lin Chen's harvest was still very terrifying. While the clone was frantically collecting the attribute light balls, Lin Chen collected more than a dozen attribute treasure chests floating in the void. Opened special treasure chest. Obtained 1 top-grade metal attribute odd crystal. Obtained 6 orange-grade exclusive talent treasure chests, 1 permanent orange-grade talent enhancer, suitable for talents below advanced orange-grade, 3 top-grade orange-grade alchemy handprint fragments, 3/5. Special treasures. 3 top-grade metal attribute odd crystals, 1 top-grade fire attribute odd crystal. Lin Chen was pleasantly surprised. The top 10 on the Saint Talent list are all good stuff. There were even top-grade orange-grade alchemy handprint fragments. One had to know that in the entire sacred boundary, there were only 3 forces that possessed top-grade orange-grade alchemy handprints, and the top-grade orange-grade alchemy handprint was a legend. It had never appeared before. If Lin Chen could obtain this grade of alchemy handprint, his alchemy foundation would improve by leaps and bounds. Next, Lin Chen opened 4 black attribute treasure chests that were shrouded in demonic aura and surging with demonic intent. Opened 4 Demon Emperor attribute treasure chests. Obtained 400 trillion sacred grade blood, 600 billion sacred grade spiritual power, 40 million top grade heaven path points. Rumble. A huge amount of blood and chi attributes were refined into Lin Chen's body, and he subconsciously urged the clone to help him absorb it. What is this? Next, the last attribute treasure chest attracted Lin Chen's attention. This treasure chest was entwined with dragon patterns and contained a mysterious aura. This attribute treasure chest made Lin Chen feel an inexplicable dragon aura, but it did not feel like a bloodline attribute treasure chest. This was an attribute treasure chest dropped by the true dragon Holy King after he died. Chapter 1777. When he opened it, Host opened special energy attribute treasure chest, true dragon divine fetus aura. Boom. A ball of milky white energy in the shape of a true dragon floated in Lin Chen's palm. It was lifelike, like a giant dragon in its embryonic form. Lin Chen could feel that this ball of energy was nurturing a new power. Such pure energy. This is the attribute treasure chest that the true dragon Holy King dropped. Maybe I can let my holy dragon absorb it and have another fortuitous encounter. Lin Chun kept this ball of energy. Seeing that all the attributes had been collected, he teleported out of the dimension, the limitless ocean. Lin Chun had just teleported out when he felt that the world had turned upside down. It was as if the whole world had tilted in an instant. A fist wind crushed everything in the world and swept past Lin Chun from afar. Boom! When the spatial fragments of the unbounded sea scattered in all directions, a blood-soaked figure stood trembling in the void. It was Qin Jiuxiao. He was bleeding from all 7 orifices. His eyes had lost their light as he muttered to himself. This fist, it's so damn powerful. Luckily, I still blocked it. Qin Jiuxiao's eyes rolled back as he fell from the sky. Whoosh! A 5-colored stream of light flashed past. Fei Wuxuang used her movement technique to catch Qin Jiuxiao and heal his injuries. Lin Chun immediately looked around. The remaining heavenly demon venerables were all killed by the dragon race and servants. And in the battle with the holy prison, Lin Chen's team of 17 almost won. A total of 15 people were killed. Only Jin Taichu and Jiang Poi were left. Of Lin Chen's 17 servants, 10 were seriously injured and unconscious, and the remaining 7 could move. They were surrounded. A sword light slashed through the encirclement, and the sword light flashed wildly as they rushed out of the encirclement. Jin Taichu and Jiang Poi ran in different directions at the same time. The true dragon Holy King is dead. Now is the time to be free. Now is the best time. Both of them were seriously injured, and they ran like crazy. Just as everyone was about to give chase, Lin Chen's voice rang in their minds. Don't chase. Go and heal your injuries first. Leave the rest to me. 10,000 zhang tall cloud shadows shuttled through the horizon. Lin Chun crushed the billowing waves of air and shot an arrow at Jin Taichu with fury of the 9 heavens in his hand. Jin Taichu was shocked. Just as he was about to activate his last bit of sword intent to block the attack, the arrow light split into 5. Jin Taichu's pupils shrank. Boom! On the other side, Lin Chun mobilized his last remaining clone to attack Jiang Poi. 5 lantern-like 9-colored divine lights bloomed between heaven and earth. Jiang Poi and Jin Taichu were intercepted by Lin Chun and his illusionary doppelganger almost simultaneously. In the end, amidst the bloody rain and howling winds, the 2 children of the era, who had the title of the strongest holy kings of the human clan, had completely fallen. Lin Chun stepped through the air and came over, picking up the attribute light balls dropped by the 2 of them. You 2 are like arrows at the end of its flight. If I let you escape, Brother Chun won't be able to survive anymore. Lin Chun, who was in the God-Slayer state, had the battle prowess of a reincarnation saint. The 2 of them were not at their peak, so naturally, they could not escape from Lin Chen's several moves. All sorts of feelings welled up in the hearts of the experts hidden within the sword domain when they saw this scene. The sacred boundary had completely changed. From the beginning to the end, they had never thought that the Genesis Alliance would lose. Moreover, even if they lost, Lin Chen's people might be caught in a long-term tug-of-war with the Genesis Alliance, the Holy Prison, and many other forces. But unexpectedly, Lin Chun had used this battle to uproot the Genesis Alliance. This method was unparalleled in the world. Will the sacred boundary's next trend be a blessing or a curse? A fierce tiger has fallen, and an even more ferocious dragon has been born. Lin Chun is a young man who can change the existing forces of the human clan. Unless the gods come into being, no one can suppress his edge. No, with his method. I'm afraid even the true gods don't have absolute confidence, right? While the experts in the sword realm were discussing buzz, buzz, buzz. At this time, the light of Lin Chen's additional saint point gradually dissipated, and the God-Slayer talent state was removed. Lin Chen's body flashed in the sky, and when he returned to the servants, they were either seriously injured or unconscious, or had exhausted 99% of their saint power. They looked particularly horrifying. In this great battle, they could be said to have exhausted everything. Especially Fong Ling and Lang Fanyun, the two of them looked as if they had aged 30 years. Their hair was white, and the traces of aging appeared on their cold and resolute faces. When they had just become Saint Kings, the two of them looked radiant, as if they had returned to their 30s. Now they looked like old men past their 60s. Lin Chen did not say much. He held their palms and nodded. Everything is over. Fong Ling smiled. My lord, you don't have to be so sad. We had a great time fighting this battle. Lang Fanyun coughed up blood and laughed. Great, there's no battle more satisfying than this. My lord, to be able to see you proclaim yourself king in our lifetime, we have no regrets. Lin Chen laughed heartily. King my ****. It's better to be free and unfettered. I'm not interested in ruling. The three men looked at each other and laughed. Then, Lin Chen glanced at Yu Wangxing and Fei Wushuang, and the two of them understood his meaning. Lin Chen then smiled and cupped his fists at Li Ziki, who was in the void. Li Ziki immediately cupped his fists at Lin Chen, solemnly and respectfully. Lin Chen turned to all the servants, hidden powerhouses, and the dragon tribe and said loudly, In today's battle, the upper echelons of the Genesis Alliance have been wiped out. Everyone, work together with the forces of the various regions to clear out the remaining rank 9 sects and factions that have joined the Genesis Alliance. Lin Chen then looked at the powerhouses of the Dragon Tribe and smiled knowingly. Everyone from the Dragon Tribe, you can assist my people to eradicate the rank 9 sects that have wreaked havoc in the sacred boundary. Is that all right? The great Dragon King of the extreme Hellwater Dragon Tribe cupped his fists and said seriously, It's not a problem at all. But there is a rule between the human tribe and the dragon tribe that we should not interfere with each other's forces. Lin Chen raised his hand and interrupted with a faint smile. Rules? From today onwards, I, Lin Chen, will be the rule. Whoever dares to talk about rules will have to come to me, Lin Chen. What do you think? What do you think? Domineering? Strong? Lin Chen's boldness was simply swift and decisive, and it made the powerhouses in the sword realm change their expressions. He already had the boldness to ignore the other rank 9 forces. Lin Chen had the courage to do things to the end. The extreme Hellwater Dragon King fell into deep thought, and her beautiful eyes shone brightly. She was in charge of a tribe. How could she not understand Lin Chen's intention this time? This young man is really interesting. He wants to use this opportunity to replace the old with the new. He wants to break the previous rules between the two tribes and make us completely stand on his side. Moreover, he wants to use the Dragon Tribe to destroy the rank 9 sects of the human tribe. This is equivalent to telling all the powerhouses of the human tribe that he has an alliance with the Dragon Tribe. If the other forces of the human tribe want to touch him, they have to consider the weight of the majority of the desolate Era Dragon Tribe. 3 birds with 1 stone. The extreme Hellwater Dragon King and the other Dragon Kings looked at each other tacitly. The result was self-evident. The Dragon Tribe is willing to help. We will follow Lin Chen. Lin Chen's lips curled up. Everything was within his expectations. Taishu, you go with them. We will split into 3 groups. The main force will attack the rank 9 sects that have joined the Genesis, and the secondary force will deal with the remaining forces of the Genesis in the various regions. Lin Chen looked at Jiang Taishu. Although more than half of his aura had been consumed, it was not a problem for him to calculate the general trend. With the help of a powerful fortune-teller, it would be easier to eliminate the remnants of the Genesis era. It would be like adding wings to a tiger. Yes. Taishu accepts the order. Jiang Taishu put away a storage ring. This was the mysterious storage ring he had obtained from the Heartbreak Red. Some of the absolute secrets of the Heartbreak Red were hidden inside. The servants were the same. After killing such a powerful opponent, they had also gained a lot. Lin Chen waved his hand. After destroying the remaining forces of the Genesis, the Dragon Tribe will come to the Mystic Realm to find me. The tribes that are participating in the battle today will each have 20 chances to upgrade their bloodlines. Hearing this, the dragons were overjoyed. Each tribe would have 20 chances to upgrade their bloodlines. They were determined to win this battle. At this moment, Lin Chen discovered that Lin Ping An had disappeared. He said in astonishment, "Where did that girl Ping An go?" Jiang Waner smiled. "She went to raid the Genesis Alliance's assets?" Lin Chen pretended to be serious. "What? She ran so fast. She disappeared as soon as she raided the Genesis Alliance's asset. What a bad habit. I don't know who she learned it from. I will scold her later." Jiang Waner. Chapter 1778. Lin Chen breathed a sigh of relief after using the immortal creation bloodline ability to sustain the lives of his severely injured servants. The descendants of the 4 great demon emperors never appeared again. The true dragon saint king of the holy purgatory is most likely dead. Only 4 of the top 10 on the saint talent ranking are left. Why didn't Lin Chen get on the saint talent ranking? His providence is empty and can't connect to the sacred boundary. The experts in the sword domain were in heated discussions. Some saint kings had already left quietly and started to report the truth to their own forces. Next, the sacred boundary would usher in an unprecedented change. Lin Chen's every move would affect the situation in the sacred boundary. When the dragon race went to war, Lin Chen's servants, who still had the strength to fight, followed decisively. Hundreds of supreme experts from the primordial dragon race formed a group of dragon kings and dragon saints. Destroying a rank 9 family was not a problem. Unless that family or sect had some kind of killing weapon, they would basically be able to sweep through everything in one wave. Rank 9 sects with such a foundation would not join the Genesis Alliance. Those who joined the Genesis Alliance were basically rank 9 forces like the Divine Flame Palace that were at the end of their road. Lin Chen's overbearingness had already been witnessed by countless experts. If those rank 9 forces dared to rope in reinforcements and form alliances with other rank 9 forces, Lin Chen's foundation could also intimidate them. It was very simple. If Lin Chen had killed Ying Jiufeng, he might not have been able to control the situation. However, he had defeated 6 Saint Talents on the Saint Talent ranking. There was also Wu Pianju, who was comparable to the top 3 on the Saint Talent ranking. This was his foundation and courage. Currently, there were not many forces in the sacred boundary that could go against Lin Chen's forces. Lin Chen only sent a clone and a large team to raid all the bases of the Genesis Alliance in various regions. As for Lin Chen's main body, he personally returned to the mystic realm. He did not go to the Saint Monarch domain, which could be considered as leaving some face for the various forces. This showed that he had no intention of dominating the sacred boundary. Time passed, and a month later, Lin Chen's servants had all recovered. Mystic Realm, former site of the Ice Heart Palace. On a mountain peak, Lin Chen opened his eyes and exhaled a powerful breath that crushed a large area of the void. "I've finally finished refining the spoils of war from this battle. Just by killing a few descendants of the demon emperors, my pure strength has broken through to the sage ruler physique of 2 million venerables." In this battle, Lin Chen's pure strength had broken through the limit just by relying on the huge amount of vitality attribute points he had lost. He was now second only to Long Jiushan. Lin Chen of the Divine Dragon race. The sacred dragon, who had transformed into his human form, stood before Lin Chen. His face was like bright jade and his face was young and tender. White dragon chi lingered around his body. His aura was restrained, vast and mysterious, and his brows were sharp and austere. In terms of appearance, Lin Chen's divine dragon of God of Light looked much younger than him. Lin Chen clicked his tongue in wonder. "Damn you! If it weren't for the fact that you have some of my aura, with your tender skin and tender flesh, and if I gave you a basketball, I think you would have already debuted in 2.5 years. If the divine dragon of God of Light was an unsheathed sword before, then it was now a peerless sword that was completely silent in its scabbard. If it was unsheathed, then it would be earth-shattering. Speaking of which, this true dragon divine embryo's chi is really mysterious. It actually allowed my divine dragon to reach 10 million venerable Saint King physique. Lin Chun shook his head in amazement. 10 million venerable Saint King physique. This boundary had just broken through the Saint King physique. The divine dragon of light now had the combat strength of a reincarnation saint. There were very few reincarnation saints. Most of the great dragon kings of the desolate ancient dragon race were only at the peak of the Saint King physique. After absorbing the true dragon divine embryo's chi, Lin Chen's divine dragon of light had obtained the opportunity to reconstruct its origin. At first, Lin Chen had almost peed his pants when he saw the divine dragon of light return from its adult form to its infant form after absorbing the true dragon divine embryo's chi. Only 1 in 100 Saint Kings had a chance of entering the reincarnation saint realm. They needed to refine their Saint King physique in 100 Saint Cave. It was the same for the dragon race's cultivation. They needed to fuse with the dragon veins, reconstruct them, and expand the dragon veins to accommodate more energy. It was similar to the human race's Saint Cave cultivation. If it was purely to increase the power of blood, Lin Chen's divine dragon of light would not be able to break through so quickly. Even if the dragon veins were to be reconstructed to the point of breaking through, it would still take a certain amount of time to complete. The true dragon divine embryo's chi contained the pure energy of the infant divine dragon. It was both gentle and powerful. It could easily reconstruct the dragon veins. With a thought, Lin Chen opened the system. Heavenly Tao Possession System version 8.0 Host, Lin Chen, Cultivation, Early Stage 6th Heaven Sage Realm, Saint Grade Essence, 2,293 trillion points. Limit Power, 205 million. Supreme Power, Flesh Shell Awakening plus 500%. Saint Grade Chi Blood, 1,895 trillion points. Saint Grade Spiritual Power, 5,822 billion. Mid-Stage Essence Spirit Realm, Saint Grade Cultivation Essence, 1 billion points. Saint Grade Rune Energy, 8 billion points. Top Heaven Tao Points, 1,915. 29 billion points. Top Talent Points, 900 million points. Intermediate Set Essence, 780,000 points. Intermediate Strengthening Points, 19,884 billion points. Saint Grade Elemental Energy, 89 billion points of Fire, 87. 2 billion points of Earth, 81. 2 billion points of Wood, 83. 6 billion points of Metal, 83. 5 billion points of Water, 89 billion points of Lightning, 85. 7 billion points of Wind, 88. 4 billion points of Light, 88. 4 billion points of Dark. Set Column, 5 pieces of Golden War God set, incomplete. Special Attribute Treasures, 3 top-grade Metal Odd Crystals, 1 top-grade Fire Odd Crystal, 7 Saint-grade Upgrade Coupons, a random top-grade Orange Alchemy Handprint Fragment, 2/5, 6 Orange Exclusive Talent Treasure Chests. 4 or more treasure chests will definitely drop a high-grade orange talent, and there is a small chance of a top-grade orange talent or a one-off top-grade orange talent. Above 10 chests, there is a high chance of a top-grade orange talent. Talent Column, Bloodline Column, Cultivation Method Column, Life Awakening Column, Characteristics Rune Column, Divine Spark Column, Divine Elephant Divine Spark Cooling Down, remaining 103 days to activate. Immortal Divine Spark Fragment, 1/3. Immortal Divine Spark, Nirvana Rebirth, Immortal Rebirth. Consumes a large amount of Heaven Tao points to activate, and has the ability to heal injuries instantly. The complete Immortal Divine Spark can heal injuries caused by God-tier living beings, while the Divine Spark Fragment can heal injuries caused by quasi-God-tier experts. Unless the host is instantly annihilated into nothingness, the immortal divine spark can instantly heal any injuries, provided that the host has the corresponding heaven Tao points. Immortal divine spark. Lin Chen destroyed Ing Jiufeng's 9 divine phoenix wills and obtained a new killer move. Previously, I had the immortal creation bloodline ability, and now I have the immortal divine spark fragment. Lin Chen licked his lips. Now that I have a strong army, I have a bunch of killer moves, and not just anyone can take my life. Lin Chen's yin-yang creation divine dragon bloodline had the immortal creation bloodline ability, which was also a killer move for healing injuries. However, there was still a huge difference between the two. No matter how strong the immortal creation bloodline ability's recovery ability was, it still needed time. This was not comparable to the instant recovery of the immortal divine spark fragment. Chapter 1779. As long as Lin Chen had enough heavenly Tao points, he wouldn't be reduced to nothingness by a single strike. Furthermore, he wouldn't be lacking in heavenly Tao points. Even if his heart was hit, he wouldn't die. Of course, this didn't mean that Lin Chen was invincible. He still had to rely on himself after his heavenly path points were depleted. Lin Chen laughed mockingly. Not bad, system. Last time, you just mentioned a trump card like Wu Pianju, and this time, you immediately arranged it. System. You'll always be the boss. Lin Chen took out a spatial jade scroll that flickered with fluorescent light. This spatial jade scroll was given to him by the woman in the star skirt beside Lin Wan. It was made of the same material as the normal spatial jade scroll from the sacred boundary. Creatures from the three-dimensional universe couldn't use items from the four-dimensional universe without a special connection. Even the spatial jade scroll was made from the sacred boundary. Lin Chen took a deep breath. His heart throbbed and he couldn't calm down. Inside this spatial jade slip, there was a high possibility that Lin Chen's background was hidden. If he opened it, it might be the beginning of a new story. It might also be the beginning of him losing his life. Previously, Lin Chen was close to the battle and didn't dare to split his attention to open this item. Now that the battle was over, he could finally reveal his background as revealed by the woman in the star skirt. Could it be that he really had someone in his family? If that was the case, would his family in the heavenly realm be safe? How would he face them? Lin Chen's heart was filled with complex emotions. He opened the space jade slip. A telepathic message and memories flooded into his mind. The human race's heavenly realm, the four-dimensional universe. It's divided into 2 regions. 9 realm seas, each more chaotic than the last. The realm seas are strong and weak worlds where chaos and opportunity coexist. It's the spatial sea that existed after the ancient era, ruled by the god. The Divine Wilderness Galaxy is the galaxy where the dragon race, the beast race, the Azura race, and the demon race meet. It's the largest region. It's not under the control of the human race. A majestic and imposing picture scroll slowly unfolded. Lin Chen seemed to be able to sense the magnificent four-dimensional universe, filled with endless history. The 5 continents galaxy is the main territory of the human race in the heavenly realm. The 100 schools of thought contended, and the gods lived in the world. More than half of the deities of the human race are gathered in the 5 continents, and above the 5 continents is the god domain. A sea of memories flooded into Lin Chen's mind as a mental transmission informed Lin Chen of the current situation in the divine realm. The Lin family once came from the divine realm above the 5 continents. The divine realm's Lin family has been an ancient aristocratic family for generations. But in the final era they gradually began to decline. The first message made Lin Chen feel as if he had been struck by lightning. The Lin family was actually from the divine realm, the pinnacle of the divine realm. Before the Lin clan declined, they had the most outstanding Lin Xiao Yao and the Yi clan's mysterious lady of the 9 heavens, Yi Hongming, getting married and becoming a legend in the god realm. Originally, I thought that after the Lin clan merged with the Yi clan, they would gradually return to their peak. Until one day, the Lin clan gave birth to a shocking genius that shocked the world. His talent far surpasses any human genius in the history of the God realm. The providence anomaly is so strong that even the Lin clan is unable to conceal it completely. The heavenly secrets have been revealed. This child is called Lin Xingqian. His birth determines his future. With his talent, he shocked the deities and shook the divine realm. He was unanimously recognized by the deities as the future #1 genius of the divine realm. After that, the divine realm was in turmoil, and the Lin family was coveted by thousands of families. In order to protect Xingqian, Lin Xiaoyao secretly brought him out of the divine realm and hid in the 9-layered realm sea. He originally wanted to raise Xingqian outside the divine realm, but who would have thought that he would encounter such a shocking event? The 9-layered realm sea was originally the most chaotic, vast, and mysterious region in the divine realm. No force could infiltrate it. However, this was a change in the divine realm. All the forces in the divine realm participated in it. They mobilized their forces and networks to search the entire 9-layered realm sea. After the two of them were discovered, they could not bring Xingqian into the lower realm. Descending to the lower realm with the appearance of a deity will definitely make them stand out. It is only a matter of time before they are discovered. However, Xingqian's powerful bloodline potential is difficult to completely hide. He will definitely become the target of everyone in the lower realm. In order to protect the descendants of the Lin family, Lin Xiaoyao used his own blood as a guide to refine the essence of Xingqian's bloodline. Xingqian's foundation and aptitude were all hurriedly erased by Lin Xiaoyao, reducing him to an incomparably ordinary person. He became the most ordinary person in the vast sea of people in the lower realm. He only hoped that there would be a day when he could escape from danger and take Xingqian back. Who would have thought that after that, Lin Xiaoyao would be exposed? In order to refine Xingqian's bloodline, Lin Xiaoyao used up a lot of divine power and was surrounded and killed by the experts of the divine realm. Lin Xiaoyao's mother, Yi Hongmeng, was imprisoned. The Yi family used their own influence to personally go to the divine realm and take Yi Hongmeng back. However, Lin Xingqian became a part of the divine realm's history. Just like his name, he was born as Xingqian and died as Xingqian. Like a flash in the pan, like a shooting star, after losing Lin Xiaoyao and Lin Xingqian, the Lin family was completely suppressed by the various forces of the divine realm and gradually declined. In the end, they lost the right to enter the divine realm and were expelled from the divine realm. They became an aristocratic family in the 5 continents. After reading all the contents of the spatial jade slip, Lin Chen's eyebrows drooped. His lips trembled slightly and his breathing trembled. If I'm really Lin Xingqian, then has my father already passed away? Lin Chen's heart could not calm down for a long time. It was as if his entire chest was burning with a fury that could burn the world. What a ruthless method! They would rather kill 10,000 innocents than let a single one go. The divine realm and the divine realm, for the sake of an infant, all of their benevolence, righteousness, and morals were worthless. To think that they would go so crazy as to chase him all the way to the lower realm without letting him go. After closing the spatial jade slip, a hexagonal star imprint appeared on the back of Lin Chen's hand. The voice of the lady in the star dress reverberated. This is the unique bloodline imprint of the Lin family. If you activate it, it will send out a mark that represents you as a member of the Lin family. If you go to the divine realm, you can use this imprint to return to the Lin family. Also, with this imprint, you can use the Starry Sky Divine Stone to go to the divine realm. This item is an item from the 3-dimensional universe. You can use it. A star stone with purple light swirling around it lay quietly in the jade slip. After his anger subsided, Lin Chen lowered his head and looked at the imprint on the back of his hand. With his character, if it were not for his own background, he would not have come out after settling everything at the divine realm. He would have chosen to live in seclusion and live a carefree life. However, he still found out about his background. Divine realm, divine realm. Those who secretly intercepted the Lin family back then were all experts from the divine realm. They were all the top forces in the divine realm. Above the divine realm, everyone was Lin Chen's enemy. How many true gods were waiting for him, Lin Chen? How many heaven-defying forces were Lin Chen's enemies? If he, Lin Chen, returned to the divine realm, how many unimaginable strong enemies would stand in his way? Lin Chen's enemies were not just one or two true gods, but the entire divine realm. Another doubt arose in Lin Chen's heart. If Lin Xingchen is me, then what's up with the previous Lin Xingchen? Chapter 1780. Lin Chen shook his head and said, "He has an awesome background, but he doesn't have an awesome talent." Lin Chen didn't have much affection for the so-called Lin family. The only ones that could truly tug at his heartstrings were his biological mother and father. Although he transmigrated from Earth, his body was still Lin Chen's, but the emotions connected by blood couldn't be cut off. He still instinctively had some familial ties with his parent. After overturning the sacred boundary, the next stop is the divine realm? Well, when the sacred boundary is over, I want to see what's so great about this four-dimensional universe. Lin Chen put away the starry sky divine stone, which was made temporarily by the woman in the star dress. Even a three-dimensional creature like Lin Chen could use it. The only drawback was that the starry sky divine stone would randomly bring Lin Chen to any location in the 5 continents of the divine realm. It was purely random and played with his heartbeat. I'm back. On the top of the mountain, a group of figures suddenly walked over. The leader was a young girl in a peach dress. Her gem-like eyes flickered with excitement as she spoke happily. "Raiding houses is so fun, I want to go again next time." It was Lin Ping'an. Lin Chen looked up and saw that the dragon race had returned. This meant that the mission was completed. The 12 rank, 9 sects that had joined the founding Century Alliance were all destroyed. Lin Chen smiled. "Everyone, we will be allies from now on. Have you decided on who these 20 spots will belong to?" The Dragon Kings were ecstatic and represented themselves and the descendants of the divine dragons. Lin Chen flicked his finger and officially activated bloodline strengthening for them, causing their bloodline grade to soar. Hundreds of Dragon Kings, divine dragon descendants, and other dragon race experts received Lin Chen's reward on the spot. Many of them even broke through on the spot. Then, Lin Chen looked at the extreme Hell Water Dragon King and said seriously, "Dragon King, may I know where to find supreme-grade metal-type odd crystals in the Divine River Galaxy?" Lin Chen wanted to forge the final War God armor, and he still needed 7 more supreme-grade metal-type odd crystals. This item was priceless, and it was hard to find in the sacred boundary. If Lin Chen wanted to gather enough in a short time, he would have to turn all the major galaxies upside down. While the extreme Hell Water Dragon King was pondering, Jiang Taishu and the others showed up. Jiang Taishu smiled. "My lord, if you want to find a top-grade odd crystal, the Jiang family of the Heavenly Sacred Region has an inherited odd crystal of the metal element." Lin Ping'an's eyes lit up. "Then let's go snatch it." Lin Chen smacked her on the head and glared at her. "What's there to snatch? They didn't do anything to us, but you're always thinking about snatching. Haven't I said it before? Kill all enemies and be polite to all friends." Lin Ping'an covered his forehead and pouted his lips in grievance. He made a face at Lin Chen as if he was unconvinced. Lin Chen said seriously, "Taishu, take people to the Jiang family and say that we're willing to buy their supreme-grade odd crystals at a high price. We'll try our best to satisfy any of their conditions. After all, it's their family heirloom, we can't treat them badly." Jiang Taishu accepted the order. "Yes, but what if they insist on not selling?" Lin Chen coughed lightly. If they don't sell, we can't snatch it either. We're honest people. If they don't want to sell it, just tell them. Miss Pingon of Suffering will stay with the Jiang family for a while until they change their mind. Look, what's an honest person? Jiang Taishu held back his laughter and pretended to be serious. Yes, my lord. The corners of the extreme Hell Water Dragon King's mouth twitched. This young man was too honest. If it's a supreme grade metal type odd crystal, Extreme Hell Water Dragon King said with a slightly solemn expression. I remember my ancestor mentioning that the 7th metal divine pool in the Hell Galaxy may produce many supreme grade metal type odd crystals. Jiang Taishu was surprised. 7th metal divine pool? It said that it was the place where the last divine dragon of the ancient Azure Gold Dragon clan fell? The universe storm there is terrifying, even holy kings aren't qualified to get close. Hell Galaxy? Isn't that the territory of the demon-human race? Lin Chen looked at the extreme Hell Water Dragon King and said seriously, Is the news confirmed? The Water Dragon King's beautiful eyes turned and nodded seriously. Most likely, it was a good friend of the ancestor. The ancestor's memory can't be wrong. Jiang Taishu hurriedly said, My lord, please think twice. That's the territory of the demon-human race. Lin Chen glared at him like an old man. So what if it's the demonic race's territory? I've even slept with the best fighter in the demonic race. It's just a mere hell star system. I'm going to find my woman. Am I not afraid of being eaten? Everyone was dumbfounded. Luo Shueiyue and Princess Xing Yu's pretty faces changed slightly. You've slept with the best of the demon-human race? Are you still human? Jiang Taishu's mouth opened slightly. The best of the demon-human race? Could it be? Jiang Taishu came to a realization and clapped his hands in praise. No wonder my lord could sneak into the holy prison. There's actually such a relationship. Ji Wuchen couldn't help but chuckle. My lord is really a role model for my generation. Lin Chen said seriously. It's indeed a bit of a loss. Last time, she slept with me. This time, I'm going to sleep with her back. Shang Guanjue, Lin Chen looked at Xiao Ling, and Zi Qianqiu, who had just recovered. The two were helpless. All right, my lord is going to the demon-human race next. I'll leave the rest to you. Our second station is in the mystic realm. Taishu, we're going to establish a force next. Lin Chen handed 2 books to him. This is the cultivation method for middle-grade and low-grade odd crystals. If you join our force, you can teach them this secret manual at your discretion. Jiang Taishu understood and took it solemnly. Taishu will not disappoint my lord. This time, I'll bring Ling and Qianqiu. The rest will stay in the mystic realm. As soon as Lin Chen finished speaking, Xiao Ling opened up a space tunnel. Wait, Princess Xingyu was about to speak when Lin Chen and the other 2 entered the space tunnel and disappeared. She gritted her teeth and stomped her feet angrily. Her phoenix eyes were filled with anger. Why are you running so fast? This princess came to help you after falling out with my imperial father. You didn't even say thank you. Are you in such a hurry to find a woman? Humph, it's best if you die there and don't come back. Luo Shueiyue smiled faintly. If he dies, won't he never have the chance to thank you? Princess Xingyu snorted coldly. I don't care. When everyone saw this scene, they smiled knowingly in unison, looking like they had experienced it before. Long Jiushan clicked his tongue in wonder, and said to Ji Wuchen with a smirk, Say, my lord is too efficient. How did he get so many girls in such a short time? This dragon princess has taken the bait. Princess Xingyu blushed and said angrily, Who did you say took the bait? Long Jiushan laughed. Ji Wuchen rubbed his chin and said with a smirk, My lord has a killing weapon on him and a great plan in mind. He acts coquettishly and fights domineeringly. Who doesn't like him? Any woman with a bit of taste can't escape. It's a pity that our lord is coquettish and not a stallion. He already has a master. When Luo Shueiyue heard this, she suddenly said, Where is the one he likes? Everyone was silent. Ji Wuchen laughed. Naturally, she's in the safest place in the world. Long Jiushan whistled. My lord is really strong. He went to the dragon world and killed 2 people in one go. Chapter 1781. The Hell Galaxy was a distant star field to the north of the Divine River Galaxy. Back then, the demon tribe was banished to the Hell Galaxy, which had the worst living environment. This star field had the most frequent and terrifying cosmic storms. It lacked resources, and there had been many wars. The living environment was extremely bad, just like Hell. It was only when the Demon Empress appeared and led the demon tribe to a new world that the demon tribe was able to pass down their legacy. However, until now, the Hell Galaxy was still one of the territories of the 4 great elders of the demon tribe. This is the Hell Galaxy? Lin Chun floated in the air and came out of the spatial tunnel. He stared at the area where the spatial storms were raging in the distance. The vast astrolabe was purple, beautiful, and magnificent. When he got closer, he saw that many stars were exploding. The afterglow of the stars that died billions of years ago shone on Lin Chen's face. Zi Qianshou said seriously, "My lord, shall we escort you there?" Lin Chen shook his head. "No, it's enough to escort me here. Enter my destiny plant pouch. I'll take care of any battles or accidents. You just have to save up for me to escape." Zi Qianshou and Xiao Ling looked at each other and turned into a stream of light to enter Lin Chen's destiny plant pouch. Lin Chen touched his chin and frowned. "The number of demon tribe experts that my primordial spirit sensed is a little terrifying. There are already no less than 29th Revolution saints outside the star field. If it's inside, there were already so many experts outside the Hell Galaxy. There were probably as many experts as there were clouds inside the galaxy. System, I want to use the permanent orange talent enhancer." When Lin Chun killed the top 10 on the Saint Talent list, he also obtained a permanent talent enhancer. He was still thinking about which talent to strengthen, but now he had decided. Permanent orange talent enhancer. It can strengthen permanent talents once. It's only effective on advanced orange talent. Which talent do you want to strengthen? Strengthen God Slayer. Buzz. The enhancer with orange divine light flowed like a gourd and rose from the system space. An orange talisman was embedded in it. It throbbed slightly before it suddenly disappeared. Upgrade successful. The enhancer has disappeared. The Godslayer talent has been upgraded to an advanced orange talent. Its effect has been strengthened and its range has been widened. The original base authentication cooldown has been halved. Lin Chen's Godslayer talent soared. Moreover, the original cooldown of 22 days had been reduced, and it could be used again. If he used it in the future, the cooldown would also be reduced. System, consume half of my current strengthening points to strengthen my annihilation. Starburst. Lin Chen's annihilation star explosion had never been strengthened. Before the final battle with Genesis, he had used most of his strengthening points on his servant. Initiating automatic strengthening, strengthening annihilation star explosion, strengthening success +1, consumed 11 billion intermediate strengthening points. The corner of Lin Chen's mouth twitched. A top-notch orange-grade skill is indeed perverse. Enhancement +1, starting from 10 billion. Who can withstand that? Lin Chun had spent close to 1 trillion intermediate strengthening points, and his annihilation star explosion had reached +13. Its power had increased by 240%, more than double. With these 2 trump cards, Lin Chen's chances of roaming the Hell Star system had increased by a notch. Chi. 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 Lin Chen's body suddenly emitted a large amount of demonic chi. His temperament changed. Horns grew on his head, his body was covered in scales, and his appearance was cold and evil. He had turned into a demonic human. The demonic seal that Yao gave me can still be used. There shouldn't be many demonic humans who can see through my disguise. As long as I encounter a reincarnation saint stage demonic human, I shouldn't be discovered. Lin Chen activated his pure strength and rushed into the Hell Star system. The demonic humans had many body refiners. As long as Lin Chen did not use his saint stage power to fight, he could use his body refiner's strength to deceive everyone and disguise himself as a demonic human. In the Hell Star system, a gray storm raged. In the middle of it was a blood-red continent. The Empress has been here for 3 months. The 4 great elders still haven't gathered their men? To dare to make the Empress wait for 3 months, aren't you afraid that she will kill all of us? As expected of the 4 great elders, their courage is extraordinary. Courage? I'm afraid things aren't that simple. In the bloody continent, the experts of the demonic human race were gathered. There were hundreds of demonic human kings, and each of them was comparable to a Saint King realm expert. Since ancient times, this was the first time the demonic human race had gathered so many people. Boom! Black clouds rolled in the sky, and demonic chi overflowed like the sun and moon. Many demonic human kings raised their heads and stared at the void, revealing a dignified expression. The 4 great elders of the demonic human race had arrived. In the center of the demonic palace, Empress Luoyao sat alone at the head of the palace. She was still wearing a veil, hiding her true appearance. Her autumn eyes were like water, but they were incomparably cold. The wide black robe could not hide her exquisite figure. A burst of demonic chi swept into the palace, and 4 figures appeared out of thin air on the 4 seats of the demonic palace. It was as if they had been sitting there from the beginning to the end. The 4 great elders of the demonic human race. Among these 4, there were old and young. They had the appearance of the human race and the charm of the demon race. Other than the Empress, after the birth of the demonic human race, there were only 4 existences who could contend with the gods of the human race and the divine dragons of the dragon race. This was the highest meeting of the demonic human race. Ordinary demonic human kings did not even have the qualifications to listen in. Luo Yao said coldly, "You are 3 months later than the agreement. Are you arrogant, or is this Empress unable to lift her blade?" The young elder wearing a silver scorpion mask said with a fake smile. A ferocious scorpion tail swayed under his feet, and centipede-like veins crawled on his forehead. It took some time to coordinate the manpower. After all, the matter of attacking the human race is no small matter. The only female revered elder of the demon dwellers was an enchanting revered elder. She had a human face and a snake body. She looked at Luo Yao with a cold killing intent. Her eyes were filled with jealousy and fear as she chuckled. "Empress, why are you in such a hurry? Even if the gods of the human race are all out, there are still many killing moves hidden in the sacred boundary of the human race. If you don't prepare well, you might fail miserably." A one-eyed elder held a walking stick. His demonic eyes contained a demonic prison. It was strange and unfathomable. His voice was hoarse and eerie, like fingernails scratching the wall. To be able to gather manpower in 3 months, it can be said to be godly speed. Luo Yao's beautiful eyes flashed with a demonic light. She said sternly, "This Empress sent an envoy 10 years ago to inform you to gather the manpower. You mentioned 3 months?" Bang! Luo Yao smashed a large piece of the void with her palm. She suddenly stood up, and a demonic light flashed in her autumn eyes. The terrifying demonic might was like 10,000 mountains pressing down on the 4 elders. "It seems that you don't put me in your eyes." Luo Yao, the young elder with the silver scorpion mask, stood up. "If you have something to say it directly. Don't tell me you want to ride on our heads?" One. Time and space distorted, and all the light in the world began to be nibbled away. A demonic blood-colored saber appeared in Luo Yao's slender hand. The 4 elders' faces changed slightly. She had actually completely broken through that realm. The current Luo Yao was worthy of being the strongest in the history of the demonic human race. Luo Yao held the demonic saber and glanced at the four elders. This Empress is here to inform you, not to discuss with you. Today's example, there will be no next time. Whoever dares to disobey, there will be no mercy. The atmosphere in the entire demonic palace was cold and tense. Luo Yao alone intimidated the four elders. Chapter 1782. The atmosphere was cold and arrows were drawn. Inside the demon hall, 4 waves of demonic energy rose and disappeared. They wanted to attack, but they were afraid. Luo Yao narrowed her eyes, not listening to this emperor's arrangements. Are you not of the same mind as the demon race? The silver scorpion revered elder sneered. We are not of the same mind? Why don't you say you are the only one? The snake woman unconsciously took a step back. That's right. You want us to attack the human race, but you want to unify our people. That's impossible. If you let our subordinates die first, or even let us attack first, then you will just sit there and wait. Won't you take all the benefits? The one-eyed revered elder cackled. Everyone is worried about your betrayal, Empress. Black mist curled up, and a pair of black jade-like eyes opened. This was the 4th revered elder of the demon race. He did not reveal his true body, but slowly said, Empress, if you want to use our people, you have to show your sincerity. Luo Yao frowned, and the atmosphere became tense. On the Blood Continent, the various demon kings felt the terrifying pressure from the demon hall, and their figures retreated a great distance. The aura of the 4 revered elders and the Empress was not something ordinary experts could approach. At this time, a handsome young man passed by the Blood Continent. He was covered in scales and had a silver horn on his head. He smiled and patted the shoulder of a demon king standing in the army. Old brother, which way is the flowing gold zone? That green-horned demon king was furious. What was his identity? He was a demon king, a big brother of the demon race comparable to a saint king. He was very spirited, and other than experts of the same level, who would dare to talk to him in such a tone. When he discovered that the person's pure strength was even fiercer than his, he respectfully smiled and said, Friend, the flowing gold zone is north of the Hell Galaxy, behind the 300 star, go straight for tens of thousands of li. The green-horned demon king said calmly, Friend, your appearance and aura are a bit unfamiliar. I am Green Demon, where are you from? The silver-horned demon king smiled casually, I am with Empress Luo. I have been in seclusion recently and have only just come out, so I am not familiar with the surroundings. Hearing this, Green Demon was shocked. Empress Luo? The true name of the Demonkin Empress was only known to a few core members and the Demonkin King. Even he only knew about it 3 months before the war. How did this guy know about it? This guy's background is not small. I have to suck up to him and build a good relationship with him. Who knows, I might even be able to ride on his coattails on the battlefield. If Big Brother wants to go to the flowing gold zone, it would be more convenient for me to lead the way. Come this way, please. Green Demon smiled apologetically and led the way. Lin Chun clicked his tongue in wonder. Yao's name was really useful. He only knew about this move after knocking out a few devil cultivatorette. This silver-horned Devilman King was precisely Lin Chun in disguise. Lin Chun glanced at a demonic palace far away on the Scarlet Continent. The devil seal on his palm could faintly sense something. Luo Yao was inside the devil hall. At the same time, he could also feel 4 powerful auras that were not inferior to the divine dragons of the dragon tribe. Lin Chun thought to himself, the other 4 auras must be the famous honorable elders of the demon tribe. If I go over like this, I won't be able to see Yao. I have to find a suitable opportunity. I should take this opportunity to go to the flowing gold zone and explore the dragon pool. Lin Chun nodded to Green Demon without batting an eyelid. And your path is wide. If you have any problems when attacking the human tribe in the future, I will take care of you. Thank you, Big Brother. Green Demon stepped into the air, and led the way for Lin Chen. Lin Chen could sense Luo Yao's location through the Devil Seal, and so could Luo Yao. At this moment, she also sensed Lin Chen's location, but because she was confronting the four honorable elders, she did not have the time to care about Lin Chen's appearance. In her impression and memory, she did not engrave the Devil Chi into any living being. However, since he had her own Devil Seal, he should be one of them. Luo Yao did not appear to look for Lin Chen first. With Green Demon leading the way, Lin Chen was able to travel through the Hell Galaxy without any obstructions, saving him a lot of trouble. In less than an hour, Lin Chen arrived at a dazzling golden nebula. This vast nebula was extremely beautiful. The golden flowing light was like the most beautiful and dazzling blade in the mortal world. It was enshrouded in a sharp aura that could tear stars apart. Amidst its beauty, there was a fatal killing intent. Under the extreme beauty, the center of the nebula seemed to hide a touch of dark and pale green. Even with Lin Chen's current cultivation level, he did not notice it. Wait a moment. This is the forbidden area of the demon tribe. The two of you are not allowed to enter without the honorable elder's orders. 2 streams of devil chi descended, and 2 blood-red demon tribesmen covered in feathers blocked in front of Lin Chen and Green Demon. They were 2 half-step demon king experts. Green Demon whispered to Lin Chen, "They are the honorable elder's men. They are guarding the forbidden area. I can only escort you here, big brother." In fact, Green Demon could use some connections to try to enter, but he threw the problem to Lin Chen. He wanted to test Lin Chen's strength and see if he was worth licking. The corners of Lin Chen's mouth curled up slightly. He knew the rules of the demon tribe. Boom. Bang. Bang. Lin Chen slapped over, his 5 fingers erupting with a power that could suppress ghosts and gods. He slapped the 2 demon tribesmen away like lightning, causing them to spit out blood and retreat in horror. He shouted at the top of his voice, "Damn you, shameless! Do I need you to teach me how to do things? Get lost!" Green Demon clicked his tongue in wonder. Ruthless, strong, domineering. The demon tribesmen had always been a race where the strong preyed on the weak to the extreme. When doing things, your fists were hard enough, and your attitude was ruthless enough, so that you could stand firm. The more ferocious the demon tribesman king was, the more they would attract the followers of their subordinate. This point had perfectly inherited the consistent tradition of the demon tribesman. Which honorable elder demon tribesman king are you? How dare you behave atrociously here? How dare you hit my people? Peel off a layer of his skin first. His temper is very explosive. I wonder if his strength is explosive? 6 streams of demonic chi descended behind Lin Chen, and 6 powerful and ferocious demon tribesmen kings appeared. They were all subordinates of the 4 honorable elders. The 6 demon tribesmen kings were either covered in feathers or armor. Their auras could swallow mountains and rivers. When they exhaled, it was like a bloody wind sweeping through, ferocious and ruthless. The 6 kings surrounded Lin Chen. Seeing that the situation was not right, Green Demon immediately said with a smile, "Everyone, we are just here to take a look at the scenery. Really, just rubbing, not going in." While talking and laughing, Green Demon quietly retreated a short distance. He did not state his position, but also observed Lin Chen's reaction. Lin Chen's mouth twitched, arrogant and cold. "So many of you are courting death? I can enter this forbidden area just because I want to. Even the Heavenly King has no room for negotiation. What a big tone! Who doesn't know how to brag? Take him down and hand him over to the higher-ups." The 6 demon tribesmen kings' auras shook, and monstrous demonic chi surged with terrifying pure power. Their bodies flashed with a light similar to that of the human tribesman king, and their palms smashed over, tearing the void apart. The body of the demon tribesman, the cultivation system of the human tribesman. The demon tribesmen were truly terrifying. Lin Chen's shoulders shook. Boom. His pure power suddenly skyrocketed to more than 7 million honorable elders. His hands clapped repeatedly, and pure power was like a coiling dragon roaring, crushing all the attacks. Not good. The 6 kings instantly felt that something was wrong. What was this guy's background? How could he have such terrifying strength? Chapter 1783. Lin Chen activated his pure strength, and with a few steps, his figure flashed like a shadow, punching and slapping all the demon kings. The 6 demon kings were either beaten until their teeth were broken or they vomited blood and knelt down. Lu Mo sucked in a breath of cold air. So fierce? This guy was pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. Just pure strength alone exceeds 7 million Zunli, as expected of a strong subordinate of the Empress. The holy dragon in Lin Chen's body was now at the level of 10 million Zunli, which was equivalent to the reincarnation sage realm. He only needed the sacred dragon possession to mobilize a portion of its power. Beating up ordinary demonic kings was as easy as flipping his hand. Lin Chen coldly glanced at the 6 demon kings and said indifferently, "If you were not the lackeys of the 4 great elders, you would be dead by now. Killing you won't do any good for the upcoming war. Remember, I am a subordinate of the Empress. Now I want to enter the forbidden area. Who agrees and who disagrees?" A subordinate of the Empress? The famous Empress of the demon race. What a strong background! The 6 demon kings trembled and spat out blood as they replied. "No, no objection, please take your time," Lin Chen coldly said. "No spirit, start again. I can't hear you." "No objection, please enter." "I can't hear you. You want to come out with such a soft voice? Speak until I hear you." Lin Chen suppressed them completely. The 6 demon kings were very clear that a demon king with such strength, who was also a subordinate of the Empress, must be a top cadre. Even if he killed the 6 of them, the higher-ups would not offend such a powerful Empress cadre for the 6 of them. Then, Lin Chen looked at Lu Mo, who understood and cupped his fists. "Brother, if you need anything, just tell me. My respect for you is like a torrential river, endless. I will follow this big brother of yours, even if you want me to suck it up. I will not say a word." Lin Chen almost laughed out loud, pretending to be indifferent. "Watch them for me, ask them where they came from. If anyone dares to run, I will beat them up." The 6 demon kings trembled all over. They did not even have the courage to run. It was an absolute suppression caused by absolute strength. Lin Chen stepped into the flowing gold zone. Just the outer area alone required the cultivation of a 9th revolution saint or above to defend. What a strong gung metal energy! If I can compress the gung metal energy here into a material object, I might be able to create a pinnacle sacred tier treasure. Lin Chen sighed and continued deeper. Lin Chen and Lu Mo said that they came to the Forbidden Grounds to comprehend a unique demon-human body tempering technique, and it wouldn't take too long. Therefore, Lin Chen could not let them go. If the demonic kings outside were to be released, it would instead create variables. If they had doubts in their hearts and the upper echelons of the 4 great revered elders found out, it would be a huge matter and they would be surrounded. Lin Chen gradually ventured deeper into the molten gold zone. The molten gold energy within the zone was spinning like a millstone, rapidly destroying everything that approached it. Countless celestial bodies streaked past and were all sliced into pieces. Lin Chen clicked his tongue in wonder. What a sharp blade! It's a pity not to use it to castrate the demon human. The area Lin Chen reached was already very close to the core area. Ordinary demon-human kings would be sliced into pieces even if they approached. Now that I'm here, the demon-human race outside can't sense me. Let's remove the disguise first. Lin Chen activated the War God set at the same time as he removed the disguise. War God Golden Body. The War God set's characteristic was activated. Lin Chen's body was surrounded by golden light, and no energy could break through Lin Chen's defense. The holy dragon possession was enough for Lin Chen to have the power of 10 million supremes. He only needed to activate the war god set's characteristic to obtain a terrifying defense. He didn't even need to activate the war god set to increase his power. Lord, we're here. At this time, Xiao Ling Er's bell-like voice transmitted to Lin Chen through the fate plant pouch. Lin Chen looked down and saw a dazzling golden heavenly lake that looked like it was formed by nature. It surged with extremely dazzling golden light, and the sharp gung metal aura was all-pervasive, as if it could pierce through all obstacles in the world. Lin Chen was shocked and lost his voice. What intense energy! It has turned into liquid. Every drop of liquid in the golden heavenly lake was as heavy as dozens of celestial bodies. This golden heavenly lake, which was hundreds of square meters in size, contained energy that could probably smash through a region of the sacred boundary. Lin Chen rubbed his hands and said excitedly, "This should be the gung metal divine lake that the extreme hell water dragon king mentioned. After a divine dragon perished, the product that was formed over a long period of time was indeed extraordinary. Inside the gung metal divine lake, many star-like auroras flickered. Lin Chen, wearing the war god set, reached out his hand and carefully reached into the divine lake. One. The terrifying golden energy fluctuated violently, and Lin Chen's war god golden body began to tremble slightly. If an ordinary reincarnation sacred realm expert reached into the pool, they would probably be crushed into nothingness by the energy. Lin Chen grabbed with his 5 fingers and suddenly exerted force in his palm, grabbing all the starlight in the divine lake. Swish! The starlight converged and absorbed the light. The gung metal divine lake quickly dried up and was finally absorbed by the starlight. Lin Chen held the 5 gold-type odd crystals in his hand that were shrouded in divine radiance. He felt an unprecedented amount of energy. It was too powerful and domineering. This was the energy of 5 supreme-grade odd crystals gathered together. Lin Chen sighed. If I didn't have the war god set's special defense, I'm afraid I would have to use the Taishi divine light to resist its sharpness. Just one supreme-grade metal-type odd crystal was enough to destroy the defense of an ordinary sacred king. If it exploded directly, the power would be unimaginable. If a sacred king realm expert didn't have a special corresponding method, it would be difficult to even hold it in their hands, let alone refine it. With 5 of them gathered together, there wouldn't be many creatures in the world that could suppress it. 5 supreme-grade metal-type odd crystals are in my hands. There's still one more odd crystal in the sacred boundary. If I can gather all of them, the final requirement of the war god set will be 1 supreme-grade metal-type odd crystal. Lin Chen kept the 5 supreme-grade metal-type odd crystals in the ultra-spacetime plane. Its sharpness was too strong, and there was no time for him to seal these odd crystals. Lin Chen happened to come across the meeting of the demon race, and the top experts gathered in the area where the 4 great elders and the empress were meeting. Otherwise, it would be 100 times harder to enter under normal circumstances. I'll yo-yo first, then go out and find Yao Er. I wonder if she still remembers me. When Lin Chen thought of Luo Yao Er and wanted to leave, Xiao Ling suddenly exclaimed, "Lord, something's wrong. There's something down there." Lin Chen was taken aback and immediately urged the power of his primordial spirit to explore deeper. He saw that where the gung metal divine pool was gradually disappearing, a fist-sized pale blue vortex appeared. The space-time it was in was completely distorted. Lin Chen's pupils constricted. He saw a faint attribute light ball in the pale blue vortex. Lin Chen swallowed his saliva. There are treasures down there. Chapter 1784. As the azure vortex spun, the surrounding space-time collapsed and twisted into a paste. Lin Chen activated the golden body of the god of war again and rushed into the azure vortex. I've already taken away the energy of the gung metal divine pool. It's only a matter of time before the demon tribe discovers this place. When the fully armored Lin Chen entered the pale blue vortex, the powerful space turbulence was like a storm, erupting with a terrifying strength that pulled at Lin Chen, instantly dragging him into the depths of the vortex. What a heavy space! What the hell is this place? Lin Chen was about to instinctively throw out a few punches to defend himself when a vast and ancient dragon's aura hit him in the face. Lin Chen appeared in a brand new space-time. When he activated his primordial spirit and scanned, Lin Chen was completely stunned on the spot. His primordial spirit strength had been enhanced by the Tai spacetime, far surpassing that of an ordinary mid-stage primordial spirit. The range of his perception was extremely wide. Even if he couldn't fully perceive a small galaxy, he could roughly estimate the range. But in this spacetime, he could only sense that it was endless. "My lord, we've fallen into a zone where time and space are almost stagnant." Xiao Ling Er's voice was both excited and trembling slightly. After defeating Zhou Baichuan, she had obtained the legacy of the spacetime silent god, and her understanding of time and space had reached a new level. Otherwise, she wouldn't have discovered this place. Lin Chen tried to move his body. As expected, the space here was very stagnant. The flow of time was infinitely close to stagnation. "I can't move? It can't be, right? What the hell is this place?" The corner of Lin Chen's mouth twitched. Xiao Ling Er's voice was surprised again. "My lord, look below." When Lin Chen lowered his head and stared below with difficulty, he was first stunned, then his pupils constricted. The azure incomplete dragon claw was as vast as a nebula. It tore apart countless star fragments and floated in the void, quietly lying in the endless void. The source of the flickering attribute light was also from the imposing and terrifying dragon claw. This is a dragon claw that still has divinity. This dragon's aura is exactly the same as the dragon monument space that day. It's the ancient Aeon dragon. Lin Chen raised his eyebrows and grinned. "Damn, Mr. Lu Sun is right. It's good luck to be handsome." He had heard the divine dragon wills in the divine dragon ruins mention that the ancient Aeon dragon had once disappeared without a trace in the Hell Galaxy during a spacetime travel. It was very likely that he had fallen here. Who would have thought that Lin Chen would hit the jackpot and find the heptagold deity lake? He even found the location of the ancient primordial Aeon dragon's death. The problem is, I can't King get there now. Lin Chen tried to break free from the frozen void, but he found that he couldn't move at all. He couldn't help but curse. "This system, what version is it now? You still want me to pick up attributes? Can't you just let me suck it over?" "System. This system has no function. Take it away." "Next." "Lin Chen. You're ruthless." Lin Chen thought of a countermeasure. If he released Xiao Ling or Zi Qianqiu, they would also be restricted by the stagnant time and space. "All right. Use my Dragon King." With a thought, the Dragon King left Lin Chen's body. The five-piece god of war set glowed with golden light, and Lin Chen's power rapidly increased. Lin Chen's power level was 2 million venerable ones. If he didn't increase his power level to 10 million venerable ones to activate the golden body of the god of war, he wouldn't be able to resist the spatial pressure here. Boom! Lin Chen's Dragon King's majestic dragon body appeared. The dragon body was enveloped in a layer of golden divine light, and the endless dragon body appeared in the frozen space-time. When the majestic dragon tail stretched out, it just happened to touch the incomplete ancient Aeon dragon claw. Congratulations, host, for obtaining the ancient Aeon dragon bloodline attribute. Ancient Aeon dragon bloodline. Bloodline attribute points. 5 billion. Boom. 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 A mysterious dragon-shaped pressure soared into the sky. It shook the frozen spacetime, and a pale green dragon aura hovered above Lin Chen's divine dragon. Lin Chen could feel that the Dragon King was rapidly absorbing the ancient Aeon dragon bloodline. 2 types of ancient Aeon dragon bloodline. How powerful can my Dragon King be? Lin Chen was shocked and full of anticipation. Dragon patterns started to appear on the golden dragon scales on the dragon body. The Yin-Yang dragon's eyes were glowing with a pale green light. With the ancient Aeon dragon as the leader, the heaven-raising divine dragon, the extreme hell-water divine dragon, and the Yin-Yang creation divine dragon as the appendages started to show the characteristics of the ancient Aeon dragon. Suddenly, Lin Chen felt as if he had been electrocuted. A new kind of perception surged into his mind. Through the Dragon King's dragon eyes and perception, Lin Chen could see the abnormality of this space-time. In the endless void there were countless flowing blue lines. They were like jade with silver threads, like the silk of spring silkworms, silver lines. These lines were thinner than hair, and they formed this world. The space-time of this world was filled with countless blue lines, and there was a hint of purple in the blue. Lin Chen was shocked as he mumbled to himself. These lines that are surrounded by blue light actually form this universe. Could it be that the ancient Aeon dragon has the ability to see through the essence of the universe's space-time? See through the essence of the universe. Wasn't this ability too terrifying? Congratulations, host. You have successfully integrated the ancient Aeon dragon bloodline. The bloodline ability is the same and can be strengthened at any time. Note: the ancient Aeon dragon is one of the top ancient Aeon dragons. If the host wants to strengthen it, he will have to consume more attribute points. When the system screen popped up, space-time shook. The world of blue light in Lin Chen's eyes began to shake violently. How many years has it been? An ancient and hoarse dragon roar slowly reverberated. It was the language of the ancient Aeon dragons. Lin Chen had asked Princess Xingyue and Luo Shuiyue about it. Zi Qianqiu was frightened as he sent a telepathic message to Lin Chen. My lord, there seems to be something wrong with that dragon claw. Its divinity has changed, and it seems to have a trace of consciousness. Zi Qianqiu could not understand the language of the ancient Aeon dragons. If that dragon claw still had consciousness, it would be 100 times more difficult to deal with than the top 10 on the Sage Talent ranking. There is actually a human and a descendant of my race here. There must be a reason for everything. Forget it, I will pass on the last part of my dragon body to you. Lin Chen was shocked, but at the same time, he heaved a sigh of relief. Although the dragon claw of the ancient Aeon dragon still had its divinity, its consciousness was incomplete. Otherwise, with its vision, it would be able to see through the fact that Lin Chen's Dragon King and his human form were one. Presumably, since a descendant of my race can come here, he should be qualified to deal with it. As the low and hoarse dragon roar reverberated, the dragon claw shone brightly. The majestic dragon claw that was like a nebula started to transform into an endless stream of light and entered Lin Chen's Dragon King left claw. Lin Chen sucked in a breath of cold air. It was actually fusion. In the blink of an eye, the Dragon King's left claw was like the sun and moon in the sky. The dragon's scales transformed into a deep azure color and shone brightly. System notification. The ancient Aeon dragon's claw has been fused into the host's dragon body. The host's dragon body is unable to completely refine the dragon claw. Every time the claw is used, the host's dragon body will exceed its capacity. Unreasonable use may cause the host's dragon body to collapse and die. Please use it with caution. Chapter 1785. Lin Chen sensed that when the ancient Aeon dragon's claw merged into the Dragon King's arm, there was a strange sense of disharmony. There was also a sense of heaven-defying power. When the system screen popped up, a series of memories quickly merged into Lin Chen's primordial spirit mind. Peerless Dragon Race Bloodline Ability, Flash of Aeon. Using the Dragon Bloodline and Dragon Blood to unleash a flash that can freeze time and space and move. The moment it is activated, it can freeze time and space in a large area. If it is a strong enemy with a higher cultivation level, the range will be limited. Minimum cultivation level requirement to activate the bloodline ability. 10 million sacred dragon bloodlines. One sacred dragon bloodline represented the power of a supreme. 10 million sacred dragon bloodlines was exactly the power of 10 million supreme. Lin Chen's Dragon King just happened to meet the standard. Lin Chen's mouth was slightly agape, fusing with the ancient Aeon Dragon's Claw, a new ancient Aeon Dragon bloodline ability, Flash of Aeon. Good fellow, this time it was not just good things that came in pairs, but four. A supreme grade metal type odd crystal, ancient Aeon Dragon bloodline, ancient Aeon Dragon Claw, and a bloodline ability. One trip to the flowing gold zone and he picked up 4 waves of opportunities for free. Lin Chen suddenly realized. No wonder there was no reaction when I first came in. It turns out that the ancient Aeon Dragon only passes it down to its descendants. The Dragon King absorbed the bloodline attribute Light Ball and obtained the bloodline of the ancient Aeon Dragon, which caused the Dragon Claw to have the last reaction. Zi Qianqiu and Xiao Ling were dumbfounded. Such a tyrannical and mysterious ancient Aeon Dragon Claw actually merged into the Dragon King's body without any hindrance. Zi Qianqiu couldn't help but sigh. My lord is truly a god. Xiao Ling Er's face was full of worship. Who would have thought that the Hell Galaxy would have so many dragon race secrets unearthed by my lord? Lin Chen's opportunity this time was at the right time, place, and people, and it would be difficult to encounter a similar situation again. When the ancient Aeon Dragon's Claw merged into the Dragon King's body, the nearby space-time began to disintegrate, and time no longer stopped. Lin Chen gradually broke free from the shackles. Just as he was about to withdraw, a bone-chilling chill rushed from the soles of his feet to the top of his head. Lin Chen was alarmed. Why do I feel a chill in my chrysanthemum? I feel a sense of danger, but I don't think so. Why? A sudden thought appeared in Lin Chen's mind in a split second. Why would an ultimate existence like the ancient universe dragon fall here? This was an ancient dragon that was one of the best in the dragon clan. Even in the desolate antiquity era, it should have been invincible in the Divine River and other major star regions. What kind of powerful enemy could beat it to such an extent that it only had one claw left? Also, its last wisp of will had actually said that he was qualified to deal with it? Who was this it? At this moment, Lin Ming felt as if he had been struck by lightning. Oh no, it would be too lousy if he continued to analyze it. Lin Chen suddenly lowered his head. When the space-time stagnated and dissipated, a mysterious starry sky scroll appeared in front of Lin Chen's eyes. It was a huge pitch-black tail that looked like dragon bones. It was covered with barbs, and its demonic aura shook the heavens and suppressed eternity. Suddenly, the huge tail opened a pair of blood-red demonic eyes. Boom! The demonic aura that crushed space-time came crashing down like an avalanche. Bang! Lin Chen, who was covered in the golden body of the god of war, was sent flying on the spot. Lin Chen's pupils shrank as blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. My lord, run! My lord, leave this space. We can help you open the array formation and escape. Xiao Ling and Zi Qianqiu transmitted their voices to Lin Chen with trembling voices. The two of them had never felt such demonic aura before. Lin Chen was at a level that even the Demon Emperor's aura and divine aura couldn't suppress. This was the first time he was sent flying by an enemy's residual aura. Lin Chen stomped his feet, and divine light burst out. He instantly rushed into the molten gold zone and escaped from this space-time. His pure strength soared all the way. The higher his strength, the faster his speed of teleportation. What the hell is this guy? Lin Chen wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. He had felt it from the descendants of the 4 demon emperors. Even the demon emperor's aura shouldn't be so terrifying. The demonic eyes on the pitch-black tail were slightly surprised, as if they were intelligent. It was surprised that Lin Chen didn't die. The next moment, it trembled and disappeared. A divine light soared into the sky, and Lin Chen rushed out of the blue space-time vortex. Almost at the same time, the majestic and violent pitch-black tail attacked with a monstrous aura and appeared tens of thousands of feet away from Lin Chen. It was like a giant that covered the sky. In front of it, Lin Chen was not even the difference between an elephant and an ant. Rip! Space-time was torn apart, and the pitch-black tail came crashing down toward Lin Chen. 10 Ultimate Heavenly Cycle Teleportation Formation. Super-dimensional teleportation divine technique. Streaks of powerful crimson light rose up around Lin Chen like jade dragons. They hovered above Lin Chen's head, and layers upon layers of silver light appeared beneath Lin Chen's feet to enhance his entire body. The crimson light flashed, and the silver light began to revolve. Lin Chen's body trembled, boom. The pitch-black tail crushed countless powerful streams of molten gold energy, but it didn't hit Lin Chen. The crimson demonic eyes flashed, and it faltered slightly. Lin Chen disappeared from the inner region of the molten gold zone. You have it sent. Damn it, Dragon Tribe. A ghostly intent transmitted from the demonic tail as it muttered to itself. The demonic eyes turned and focused on another space. The indescribably massive tail trembled, and it instantly traveled hundreds of thousands of kilometers away. Its speed was so fast that it was countless times faster than the speed of light. In the outer region of the molten gold zone, the crimson light disappeared and the silver light shattered. Lin Chen's body appeared in the void, and the voice transmissions of the two reverberated in his mind. My lord, the energy here is too powerful. We can only move this far at our fastest speed. The spell formation needs another 15 minutes before it can be activated again. The energy in the eye of the spell formation has already been depleted. My lord, something's wrong. That thing seems to have caught up to us again. Run. Ling Er's cultivation base is overloaded, and she can't use it a second time in a short period of time. The voice transmissions of the two sounded at the same time. Lin Chen understood what they were thinking, and he immediately deactivated the War God set. In a situation where he didn't need to defend against the powerful energy around him, his fastest movement speed was his movement technique. Colorful flowing light, cloud shadow heavenly light. Lin Chen stepped onto the cloud shadow, and colorful flowing light enveloped his body as he rushed out of the molten gold zone at an extremely fast speed. Lin Chen frantically ran for his life. He suddenly realized a terrifying name. That ghostly thing just now was most likely the demonic god king that the ancient god had mentioned before. The demonic emperors were the strongest of the demonic race. All of the demonic emperors pursued a single realm, and that was the demonic god king. There was only one demonic god king that existed in history, and that was the monster that came from a higher universe and alarmed the divine realm. Motherf ** Ker. I was wondering who the F** CK could have killed the ancient primordial Aeon dragon, and it turned out to be that ghostly thing. Lin Chen couldn't help but curse. Sure enough, the higher the opportunity, the more ridiculous the danger factor. Good things aren't so easy to obtain. This time I've offended a demonic god king. If he could escape this time, he would be covered in dust. If he couldn't escape, not even a box of dust would be left. Chapter 1786. That pitch-black tail was most likely a part of the demon god king. If it was a complete demon god king, Lin Chen might not even be able to charge out of the molten gold zone. Moreover, a wounded demon god king that had fled to the divine river galaxy would need the power of the god realm's messengers to surround and kill it. When this thing was at its peak, it was simply unbelievable. Lin Chen had heard the ancient gods speak frankly about the origin of the demon emperors. Other than a small number of demon emperors who were born with supreme bloodlines, the current demon emperors of the demon race all relied on absorbing the remains of the demon god king to break through. The remains of the demon god king could create a demon emperor, and the remains could cause the fall of an ancient Taizhou dragon. This thing was simply the strongest creature that Lin Chen had ever known. There was no other creature that could compare to it. This thing should be a fragment of the demon god king's remains. Its power is too terrifying. Even with the war god set, I'm not sure I can win. Yo-yo. Outside the molten gold zone, Lu Mo suddenly frowned. Why did he feel a trace of the human race's holy power fluctuation? He felt a trace of the human race in the demon race's forbidden area? Was it an illusion? A silver-robed figure flashed in front of Lu Mo and the other demon kings, shuttling through the void. He flew through the sky, his silver robe fluttering, making Lu Mo think he saw wrongly. Human race, rumble. Without any time to react, the 6 demon kings and Lu Mo were crushed by a wave of demonic energy. They didn't even have time to sense their own death. Even the strongest demon king of the demon race, who had monstrous power and strength, didn't have time to react before his death. Lin Chen felt a chill run down his spine as his hair stood on end. This damn thing is so fast? Monstrous demonic energy rolled over, covering the sky and stars, covering Lin Chen's perception. The skull-like demonic statue opened its bloody mouth and charged towards Lin Chen. Devour, devour, the eyes of the pitch-black tail let out a hoarse roar. Lin Chen's butt went cold. This feeling of being targeted was like being stripped naked at any time. Phantom doppelganger, starburst. In the blink of an eye, Lin Chen released all of his doppelgangers. All the clones gathered the brand-new power of the Annihilation Star explosion. The most brilliant 9-colored star cluster rose and blossomed in front of the tide of demonic energy. Buzz, buzz. Time and space trembled, and heaven and earth were turned upside down. So hard! Lin Chen's expression changed slightly, and the corner of his mouth twitched. However, even with the strengthened Annihilation Starburst, with all his clones using it at the same time, this move could only stop the opponent for a moment. The strength of the strengthened Annihilation Star explosion had more than doubled. A doppelganger with the instant light doppelganger could unleash 5 moves. The 7 illusionary doppelgangers used instant light doppelganger, which meant that there were 35 moves of Annihilation, a starburst. Its power far exceeded the past, and even the reincarnation sage would lose a few layers of skin. There was no doubt that this wasn't the strength of a Saint Realm expert. It was this 100th of a second. Dragon King, Supreme Universe Dragon Claw. Lin Chen instantly released the Dragon King, and a majestic dragon body appeared out of nowhere. The Dragon King roared angrily at the sky and used his power to activate his left claw. A deep azure divine light flowed on the dragon claw as it fiercely shook the skeleton demon statue. Lin Chen immediately used the strongest trump card he had just obtained, the ancient Aeon Dragon's Claw. Chi. Rip. Bang. 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 The demon statue suddenly burst open and continued to explode. The demonic energy collapsed and exploded. Outside the molten gold zone, thousands of stars collapsed and exploded. A strange glint flashed past the blood-red demon eyes, as if it was surprised that Lin Chen could withstand this attack. Then, its bloodthirsty and ferocious intent became even more intense. Crack, crack, crack. At this moment, Lin Chen's Dragon King body suddenly changed. The skin and flesh under the dragon's scales split open, and python-like cracks spread all over the dragon body. Blood spurted wildly from the dragon body. Lin Chen was swept by the aftershock and retreated step by step. When he activated his defense, his sacred power rapidly dried up, and blood flowed from his ears and nose. My chi and blood have dried up. Oh no, this thing is too much of a burden to use. In the blink of an eye, Lin Chen gritted his teeth and used the Dragon King to possess him. Lin Chen opened his eyes again, and his yin-yang dragon eyes reflected a deep azure divine light as he stared at the majestic demonic energy that covered the sky. The scenery between heaven and earth changed again, and it became like endless threads of blue light permeating the air. Rumble! The giant pitch-black tail swept over, crushing countless star fragments along the way. A large area of vacuum turned into chaotic nothingness, and space was completely shattered as it smashed violently toward the space above Lin Chen's head. Immediately, Lin Chen clapped his hands together, and a deep light surged between his brows and was released in an instant, enveloping the sky. At this moment, time seemed to stop as the giant pitch-black tail cut across the sky. Supreme Universe Flash! The endless threads of blue light in the sky converged into a straight line, and Lin Chen's body flashed along the straight line and disappeared without a trace. Bang! Bang! The giant pitch-black tail hit nothing, and the explosive power divided the starry sky into two, sinking the sun, moon, and stars, annihilating everything in the universe as if a universal storm had raged through the universe. Whoosh! Blood Continent, Supreme Demonic Palace. What you're worried about is completely unnecessary. When Luo Yao intimidated the four revered elders by herself, their worries were gradually dispelled. As I said before, the army I belong to will lead the first vanguard, and only choose the sacred boundary of the human race, the Sage Monarch domain, to launch the first attack. In addition, as long as you don't violate the agreement, I won't interfere in any of your teams. The command is in your hands, but Luo Yao's cold eyes flashed with a cold light. After I attack the Sage Monarch domain, I want you to attack the various human domains and fight together on behalf of the demonic tribe. If you do anything strange, don't blame my demonic blade for treating you the same as the human race. Luo Yao's concession and threat made the four revered elders' expressions change slightly. However, before the four revered elders could answer, a special and sharp roar pierced through space and time. Dragons, die! The roar caused the entire blood continent to tremble, and many demonic kings felt a lingering fear. It was as if some supreme creature that could not be disobeyed had awakened. Hearing the roar, the four revered elders' expressions changed. Damn it, how did this thing wake up? Isn't that place a forbidden area? Even the demonic kings can't enter. The four revered elders' expressions changed several times. On the side, Luo Yao's expression suddenly changed slightly. She raised her cold eyebrows, and her voice was cold and solemn. What is this? The demonic tribe has this kind of demonic thing, and you haven't announced it? The four revered elders' expressions were different. Luo Yao said coldly, "If you don't want to say it, I have plenty of opportunities to make you say it." Whoosh! Luo Yao disappeared and immediately rushed to the location of the molten gold zone. Don't let her touch that thing. Oh no, let's protect it first. The four revered elders took action. On the other side, Lin Chen used Taizhou Flash and shuttled to a nearby star outside the Blood Continent. 90% of the Dragon King's dragon veins were empty. Other than pure power, the Dragon King's combat strength had decreased a lot. Firstly, he was injured, and secondly, the dragon veins were severely exhausted. Only pure power was left, and the best choice was to possess Lin Chen. Xiao Ling-er's heart still had lingering fear, and she hurriedly said, "My lord, its speed is too fast. Let's quickly escape into that special space from before." The special space that Xiao Ling-er mentioned was Lin Chen's, beyond time and space plane. Unexpectedly, Lin Chen's lips curled up and arrogance overflowed. Escape? Escape my ass. How can I be in a Dark Horse organization if I don't fight back after being beaten? Lin Chen looked at the vast and majestic blood continent in the distance and laughed evilly. I wonder how great it would be if I declared war on the devil cultivator race. Ziqianshou. Xiao Ling-er. Lin Chen, life and death are insignificant. If you're not convinced, then do it. Chapter 1787. With a wave of her hand, Luo Yao cut off the dimension and tore through space and time. When she was the first to arrive outside the flowing gold zone, the pitch-black tail that was as deep as the sea suddenly stopped. Obviously, the two supreme experts of the Divine River Galaxy had sensed each other from the moment they met. The pitch-black tail sent out a faint will. "You are incomplete product." Luo Yao frowned under the veil. "The body of a demon? With such a powerful aura, you must have been in existence above the demon emperor when you were alive. Why is there no record of it in the history of the demon race?" Immediately, Luo Yao pointed her blade at the pitch-black tail and scolded coldly. "No matter where you come from, this is the territory of my demon race. If you leave calmly, this emperor will not hurt you." This thing was strange and unpredictable. The most important thing was that the high-end power of the demon race was gathered here. If a big battle was started, it might hurt other experts of the demon race. If this battle started, there would be many unfavorable factors before the battle against the human race. The pitch-black tail twisted violently, and a blood-colored head appeared in the starry sky. It said ferociously, "You are not a demon, you are incomplete." Luo Yao said calmly, "It doesn't matter whether I'm incomplete or not. This emperor is the strongest, and that's enough." As soon as she finished speaking, Luo Yao's eyes were completely stunned in the next moment. On the other side of the pitch-black tail, a star floated in the starry sky, and a silver-robed youth stood on it, completely attracting her attention. It was difficult for her to look away. Luo Yao's bright eyes under the veil showed a trace of emotion, revealing surprise and uncertainty. She thought to herself, "There's actually a human here? How can this human have my aura?" Lin Chen also saw Luo Yao's gaze. Their eyes met, and he could no longer look away. Lin Chen's face was full of emotion. The current Luo Yao was not on the same level as when she went to the mystic realm to roll in the sheets and do sports. Moreover, her temperament had undergone a great change. If it was said that the pressure she gave to ordinary creatures before was cold, indifferent, like an iceberg, now it was fierce, murderous, and could give people a sense of majesty and oppression that made them kneel down and kowtow with a glance. Demon Empress, fully deserved to be called. Right now, she was like a high and mighty empress who was forever out of reach. The two of them finally met again after so many years. She has become even stronger. Compared to when she forced her way into holy prison back then, she is now at the peak of the creatures I have seen. Zi Qianzhou and Xiao Ling also witnessed the Empress's peerless beauty. They had met Luo Yao once, and that was when she had forced her way into the Saint prison. The current her was even more powerful than before. Even if she didn't reveal her true appearance, just that awe-inspiring and dignified aura and pressure was enough to make one feel that she had changed completely. Lin Chen's lips moved slightly, but in the end, he still transmitted his voice. "Yao." The Empress replied coldly, "You know my name? Human, who are you?" When Lin Chen heard these words, he felt a faint stab of pain in his heart. He couldn't help but bristle with anger. "What? You really don't recognize me? Don't play with amnesia, it's not fun at all." Even though the Empress hated the human race, she didn't know why she couldn't bring herself to hate the young man in front of her. He was obviously full of flaws and weak, but she couldn't bring herself to do it. The demonic Empress said, "You." Lin Chen directly interrupted her and said, "Don't you me, you have changed, you have become so heartless. That night I didn't reject you. I used all the unique skills of the Black Horse Club, and you even praised me for my good skills, enough standards, enough time, and good health. You even said that we were going to be a pair of little birds clacking during the day and having sex at night, and now you actually don't recognize me." The two servants, Zi Qianzhou and Xiao Ling were dumbfounded. The amount of information was too much, and it shocked the two of them for an entire year. The demonic Empress said in surprise. Lin Chen was filled with righteous indignation. "Don't say any more. Do you think that just because you are the Empress of the demonic tribe, You can lift your skirt and not recognize me? What do you think I am? I am known as the little black dragon in the spring dreams of billions of girls, Lin Chen, and I am not a casual person. The Empress wanted to say something. But Marshal Lin's face was filled with grief and indignation. Is this your thousand-layer method of flirting? Bah, a scumbag who plays with other people's feelings and bodies. Don't think that you can do whatever you want just because you are the Empress. My Black Horse organization's taboo is white. Whoring. Empress Luo, who was inexplicably called a scumbag, was so angry that her entire body trembled. Her jade-like hand trembled and she almost pulled out a knife to slash at him. This Empress really wants to slash him with a knife. But what's with this irritating mood? While Empress Luo was bewildered, Lin Chen observed her expression and felt a chill in his heart. She can't have really forgotten me, right? She really doesn't even have any memory of me? Lin Chen thought to himself, I don't believe that she has really forgotten me. Then I can only use my spear skills to make her remember. Buzz. Whoosh. 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 At this moment, space was torn apart, and 4 demonic lights pierced through the void. Boom. Majestic and endless demonic power enveloped the sky, and the 4 great elders descended. A human? When Honorable Elder Silver Scorpion arrived, he looked as if he had seen a ghost when he saw Lin Chen in the distance. One had to know that this was the Hell Galaxy, not to mention a scene where the 4 great elders were gathered. Ordinary humans, even human true gods, shouldn't dare to set foot in here easily. But a human brat had actually sneaked in here? Wasn't this like seeing a ghost? Most importantly, this young man was actually able to withstand their pressure? This was too strange. Another honorable elder sent a voice transmission solemnly. The question is, how did it come out? Could it be that this human brat released it? Impossible, this human doesn't have the strength to do so. To forcibly take away that space, one has to be at least a human true god to do so. Could it be that this kid has the help of a human true god? Otherwise, how did he sneak in? Could it be that the dragon corpse has completely disappeared? Let's not bother about that human brat first. This thing can't be. Let the Empress. The 4 great elders exchanged glances and understood each other. Bang! At this moment, demonic aura billowed and exploded. When the ferocious blood-red head on the black tail saw the 4 great elders, it seemed to have sensed something important from them and attacked violently. Lin Chen reacted quickly and changed his movement technique. He raised an eyebrow and said, "The situation is very right. Now is the time, Yo-Yo." Riding on the heavenly light, he activated his movement techniques and rushed toward the Blood Continent immediately. The Empress wanted to stop Lin Chen. The demonic god king's remnant consciousness growled. "Bloodline! Despicable! You have tarnished the sacred item, damn it!" The pitch-black demonic tail transformed into a blood-colored head. It opened its bloody maw, and a gust of bloody wind suddenly roared out. A bloody storm that reached the heavens swept over. This attack was on a completely different level from the one that blasted toward Lin Chen just now. This was a furious attack that would not stop until it was dead. Chapter 1788. Facing the remains of the demonic god king, the Empress frowned. "Since you've already attacked, there's no room for discussion." The Empress waved her hand, and the demonic blade slashed at the blood moon-like blade aura. Wherever the blood moon-like blade aura passed, it exploded with a terrifying suction force. The spinning blade aura swallowed everything. Light, space, time, life, celestial bodies, energy, everything was sucked into the blade aura and swallowed, leaving nothing behind. Everything withered, swallowing the sky and starry sky. The 4 elders understood and each made a move, shattering the attack of the remains of the demonic god king. Bang! 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 There was a big explosion in the starry sky, celestial bodies turned into dust, and space collapsed into a chaotic vacuum. With the top combat power of the entire demonic race, the remaining remains of the demonic god king were no match for them. Letting Lin Chen escape, the Empress' heartstrings showed a trace of irritation. "Get lost!" Under the veil, the Empress's cold shout came. She used a rare bit of her strength and slashed down. Rip! The demonic blade cut through the night sky, and a blood rainbow suddenly appeared in the sky. The blood rainbow exploded with a terrifying suction force, sucking in the black demonic tail that covered the sky. Its defense was broken, and demonic blood spurted out. The four elders' faces changed, and they almost protected it. If it was killed by the Empress, they would be in big trouble. The Empress slashed again. The surging blade aura contained the power to destroy the world, and even light couldn't escape from its swallowing range. Seeing this, the expression of respected Elder Silver Scorpion changed slightly. He immediately revealed his half-demonic body, covered in scorpion shells, and with a step, he traveled through the void faster than the speed of light. The next moment, respected Elder Silver Scorpion suddenly turned around. A section of the scorpion tail smashed through the air, and demonic aura rolled. It met the blood-red blade aura head-on and blocked the Empress's attack. Respected Elder Silver Scorpion shouted, "Empress, this thing is related to many things, you can't kill it." The Empress said indifferently, "Why can't I kill something of the demonic race? This thing has nothing to do with the demonic race. We have to walk our own path, not follow the path of the demonic race and explore their bloody history. Respected Elder Silver Scorpion, if you don't get lost, I'll kill you too." Whoosh, whoosh, shwa. The other three revered elders stepped forward and tried to dissuade the Empress. "We don't know much about the demon race. This item can help us understand the demon race better. We can't kill it." "Empress, could it be that you are also blinded by a single leaf? This item is the most precious treasure of the demon race. Perhaps we can use it to threaten the demon race." The four great revered elders dissuaded the Empress, but the remains of the demonic god king were not a pushover. Its ferocious blood-colored head wriggled violently, as if it wanted to create an even stronger body. In the next moment, the pitch-black demonic tail swept out, shattering the light rays. Like a cosmic storm, it rushed towards the four revered elders. The situation was a mess. The four great revered elders blocked the Empress and the remains of the demonic god king. Meanwhile, the remains of the demonic god king attacked the Empress and the revered elders. Its attacks were filled with killing intent, as if it was venting the anger that had been suppressed for countless years. However, the Empress was limited by the overall situation of the demon race and did not show her true strength. In fact, even she herself did not realize that while she was dealing with the remains of the demonic god king, she was also multitasking and searching for Lin Chen's aura. From the unknowns, she could sense that this young human must be related to her somehow. She actually engraved a unique demonic mark on his body. Who was he? Would she really have a relationship with the human race? Impossible. The Empress released her perception and found that Lin Chen was actually rushing towards the bloody continent. She could not help but be stunned. That human went to the demon palace? What does he want to do? The entire upper echelon of the demon race was now gathered on the bloody continent. That was a lineup that could rival the upper echelons of the human race's 36 domains. It was enough to attack the human race and exterminate a race. Was he, a human saint, not afraid of death? Whoosh! The Empress's beautiful figure turned slightly and actually escaped into the air. The four great revered elders were dumbfounded. That ruthless and arrogant Empress, who looked down on all living beings, actually fled at this moment? Take advantage of this moment to suppress this fellow. Before this crazy woman comes back to her senses, don't let it be exposed. Use all your strength to suppress it. Under the veil, the Empress looked at herself in shock and astonishment. I was following my instincts just now? I actually wanted to protect him? This unbelievable behavior even made the Empress feel more and more ridiculous. On the other side, Lin Chen stepped on a cloud and flew madly towards the bloody continent. He even flipped through a few classic books in his hands, such as 100 Ways to Use the God Slayer, Fancy Posturing Postures personally taught by the Standalone King, How to Rush Your Chapters Correctly in Female Cross-Dressing, The Leading Speech of the Dark Horse Organization, and so on. Looks like there's only one way left to get out of here. The moment Lin Chen closed the book, he took off his robe and bared his upper body. Bang! A meteor-like light fell onto the bloody continent like a divine light descending, shocking the entire bloody continent. What's going on? Before the first wave has subsided, another wave rises. Great revered elder just went out. Is he back again? No, it's the aura of a human. Many demon-human experts and demon-human kings were bewildered. The 4 great revered elders' mighty army and the experts under the Empress all looked in the direction of the demon-human palace. Above the demon-human palace, a handsome and muscular figure faced all the demon-human race with his upper body naked. His power sank into the sun and moon, and his aura swallowed the world. A pair of sword-like eyebrows were raised, and his starry eyes were shining brightly. There was a cynical smile on his face, and a faint golden divine light floated down from heaven and earth to decorate his body. He was like a god descending to the mortal world. With his back facing all the supreme experts of the demon-human race, he was still fearless. Countless experts were shocked and tongue-tied. It was actually a human? Many powerful demon-human kings were filled with fighting spirit. How dare he? A human dared to kill his way here? Who gave him the courage? Even a true god of the human race wouldn't dare to come here alone. The moment before the encirclement broke out, Lin Chen activated his primordial spirit and sacred power and suddenly shouted coldly. All demon-human race, listen up. The cold shout was like a dragon's roar, earth-shattering and earth-shattering, spreading throughout the bloody continent and resounding under the starry sky. Lin Chen's left thumb was pointing at his tiger shoulder, and the faint bite mark that was like a crescent moon was faintly discernible. Then, a purple light suddenly lit up behind Lin Chen's back, and the ancient talisman that the Empress had personally carved appeared. All the demon-human race were shocked. It was actually carved by the Empress herself? What was the relationship between this boy and the Empress? Lin Chen pointed to the sky, the corners of his mouth curled up, and a wild aura overflowed as he shouted. I, the most handsome man of the human race, Lin Chen, hereby announce, your demon-human Empress, I'm going to sleep. Silence. A strange silence. At this moment, the bloody continent was completely silent. God Slayer talent notification. Currently, those who are hostile to the host. Demon-human race. Number range, all. Chapter 1789. Lin Chen's primordial spirit sound transmission resounded throughout the entire starry sky, reverberating through the horizon. Empress, this young master is asleep. This young master is asleep. Asleep. The entire starry sky actually reverberated with Lin Chen's sound transmission. All the demon cultivator felt as if they had been struck by lightning. Not only the upper echelons of the demon cultivator clan in the Blood Continent, but even the demon cultivator clan outside the Hell Star system could hear it clearly. In the entire demon cultivator clan, no one was not angry, no one was not shocked. When it reached the ears of the Empress who was rushing over, under the veil, a trace of crimson appeared on her cold and beautiful face for the first time. She bit her white teeth lightly, her beauty was indescribable. Lin Chen pointed to the sky, his aura rising steadily, unstoppable. Lin Chen turned around to face all the dumbstruck demon cultivator clan, and shouted coldly. The Empress of the demon cultivator Luoyao is my, Lin Chen's, woman. In the future, I, Lin Chen, will be there for all eternity. She is mine in life, and she is my ghost in death. Anyone who refuses to accept it, stand out. I, your father, have won." This soul-stirring and domineering speech caused all the experts of the Demon Cultivator clan to be enraged. Needless to say, the Empress's side took her as their belief and acted according to her principles. The Demon Cultivator clan, who was previously slightly afraid of Lin Chen's methods, immediately exploded upon hearing these words. On the side of the four great elders, the Empress's influence had also seeped into them, and there were even more admirers of the Empress. Those talented Demon Cultivator clan geniuses had been fortunate enough to see the Empress's true appearance, and even the most beautiful women had fallen in love with her. If there was an Empress in this world, there would be no more peerless beauty in the mortal world. Even the experts under the four great elders' command had more than just a little respect for the Empress. She was currently recognized as the #1 expert of the Demon Cultivator clan, and no one was convinced of her status with her strength. Now, this human actually publicly tarnished the reputation of the Empress. Unforgivable. Even if he died, he had to pay the price. This child dares to tarnish the Empress, destroy him. The human race is nothing. We are going to destroy the sacred boundary of the human race. A mere human, not even a true god, dares to insult our Empress. Where did this stray dog come from? Lin Chen? This prince has never heard of it. Where is my saber? Where is my saber? Kill him! Boom! The entire blood continent trembled violently. All the demon cultivators were rioting. When Zi Qianqiu and Xiao Ling witnessed this scene, it could be said that their scalps went numb. Fear and trepidation were not enough to describe a billionth of the excitement of this trip. Once again, the Lord did not play by the rules. He deserved to be called #1. Their Lord was the first man in history to step into the territory of the Demon Cultivator. Their Lord was the first expert in history to face the entire Devil Cultivator clan and shout out the slogan, "Sleep with the Devil Cultivator Empress." This was too crazy. None of the people who did this were human. Whoosh! The space burned with raging flames that blotted out the sky, and a giant palm that blotted out the sky crushed toward Lin Chen. The surging demon saber chi was like a hurricane, instantly covering all of Lin Chen's escape routes. It was airtight, and the saber cut through the stars. The demonic light was like a giant pillar that descended, covering the stars and the moon as it blasted toward Lin Chen. Hell-like lava broke out of the ground and raged like a tornado. Sky Demon Hand. Great Tao Flame Demon. Demon Butcher Saber. Countless attacks were aimed at Lin Chen. Lin Chen's eyes shone brightly as he laughed wildly. There is no more suitable time than now, God Slayer. Buzz. Above Lin Chen's head, orange divine light circulated, and an orange talisman suddenly bloomed. Boom. Streaks of reddish-gold dragon-shaped energy erupted from Lin Chen's body and danced wildly in the sky. His pure strength was as majestic as an ancient god, swallowing the galaxy and destroying the 9 heavens with one breath. 5 million supremacy force, 10 million supremacy force, 15 million supremacy force, 20 million supremacy force, 30 million supremacy force, 40 million supremacy force. It was still climbing. For any cultivation level, the more one needed to cross over, the more terrifying the accumulation would be. However, Lin Chen's God Slayer talent this time was far more powerful than before, and breaking through was as easy as crushing dry weeds. Just the number and talent level alone were on a completely different level from before. Lin Chen's pure strength soared all the way. His primordial spirit materialized, transforming into hundreds of primordial spirit palaces that stood like a group of palaces, shaking half of the Hell Star system. The divine light was inextinguishable, eternal. Lin Chen's primordial spirit power temporarily broke through to the perfected primordial spirit realm. It was a completely different level from the mid-stage primordial spirit realm. In the blink of an eye, an invincible saint energy surged into Lin Chen's body, shocking all the demon kings. They had never felt such a terrifying saint energy of the human race. Lin Chen's body shone with hexagonal starlight, breaking through like a hot knife through butter, and 132 saint points shone around his body. Lin Chen's shoulders shook, and he released a little of his saint energy, reversing time and space. Bang! 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 The 9-colored saint light swept across the sky in an instant, and all the attacks of the demon race were easily shattered by Lin Chen. The bloody continent trembled continuously. If not for the barrier set up by the 4 great revered elders, this wave of attacks would have been enough to shatter tens of thousands of stars like the bloody continent. The demon kings of the 4 great revered elders' camp narrowed their eyes. They stared at Lin Chen. The young man's naked upper body shone with hexagonal starlight, like a divine light rising from the east, illuminating the entire Hell star system and making it no longer dark. 132 saint points? What kind of freak is this human? Didn't they say that the human race is the same as us, and can only open 100 saint points? Could it be fake? No, if it's fake, he can't possibly take our attacks. Don't King care if it's real or fake. Can he fight all of us alone? He has tarnished the name of the Empress. This kid must be killed. After a short moment of shock, the demon race was replaced by an even more violent uproar. The host has activated the advanced orange talent, God Slayer. Consumed 200 million talent points. Target hostile to the host. All demon race. Overall increase in strength, 92,520 times. Advanced orange talent, God Slayer. Calculation range increased, cooldown greatly reduced. Cooldown, 29 days. Note: the God Slayer talent has been strengthened to the advanced orange talent, making up for the shortcomings of the previous version. When the host uses this talent to kill enemies, if the enemy's realm is lower than the host's, the number of growth attribute points will not decrease. Shortcomings made up. Now, the God Slayer talent would drop both growth attribute points and non-growth attribute points. The chaos and noise caused by the heavens did not affect Lin Chen. The Sage Realm had 6 levels of life and death, 7 levels of Receiving Star, 8 levels of Sacred Heart, and 9 levels of Kai Tian. Under normal circumstances, including the Tai Saint Point, Lin Chen had 104 Saint Point. Now, he had 132 Saint Points. In other words, the God Slayer talent had achieved an unprecedented feat of crossing 3 major realms. The current Lin Chen was at the 9th level of Sage Realm, Kai Tian. Lin Chen clenched his fists and closed his eyes slightly. He was intoxicated and yearning. A wisp of Saint Chi suppresses the 9 heavens, and a wisp of Saint Chi subdues ghosts and gods. The Saint Chi splits the sky. This is my Lin Chen's, Kai Tian's, cultivation base. When he opened his eyes again, Lin Chen's monstrous battle intent erupted. Chapter 1790. At Lin Chen's current stage, the 53rd Saint Point and beyond were Saint Points that were temporarily broken through by the God Slayer's innate talent. Without the support of a cultivation technique, Lin Chen's full circle life and death realm cultivation base was able to unleash saint energy comparable to 10 million Zune realm experts. 7th layer of the Receiving Star realm, with 61 to 70 holy acupoints opened, one could double the basic holy power. That was 30 million venerables worth of saint energy. 8th layer Saint Heart, opening 71 to 80 saint points, could double the base saint energy and obtain the powerful recovery ability of the Saint Heart. Just temporarily entering the Saint Heart complete realm could unleash saint energy equivalent to 60 million venerables. Saint Heart complete realm was comparable to late quasi-god. But now Lin Chen was in the heaven opening realm. 9th layer saint, heaven opening realm. According to one's potential and foundation, opening 81 to 90 saint points would increase one's saint energy by 400 venerables and above. Even Lin Chen couldn't estimate how powerful the last 2 heaven-opening realm saint points that he opened with the God Slayer were. Perhaps he could only find the answer in a real battle. In the next moment, thousands of demonic moons bloomed around Lin Chen. Moonlight filled the sky, and each demonic moon contained the fatal killing intent of the fallen Saint King. 1,000 demonic moons. A beautiful woman with an enchanting figure, who still retained her charm, held a magic wand in her hand and coldly scolded. Her cultivation base was far superior to most of the demonic tribe. The High Priest has made his move. Follow the High Priest and destroy this deceitful human. The army of the 4 great elders was boiling. The High Priest of the demonic tribe was above the demonic king. He was a powerful existence that was second only to the 4 great elders and the Empress. In the human race, only a few people could fight against him. They had the combat power of the reincarnation saint realm, and each of them could fight against hundreds of saint kings. Boom, boom, boom. With the Empress's army at the lead, a large number of demonic tribe kings launched the first wave of attacks. Then, the 4 great elders' army followed closely behind. As Lin Chen spoke, he flicked his finger and activated his saint energy. A 9-colored ray of light flashed. Rip! The 1,000 demonic moons sank, and the demonic light shattered the sky. The enchanting and beautiful Grand Priestess made a muffled sound in her throat, and her body was pushed back, her face pale. In the blink of an eye, he tore apart the demon race High Priest's all-out attack. Both sides were simply not on the same level. Buzz, 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 the power of his primordial spirit trembled and swept out like a hurricane, transforming into a primordial spirit-burning dragon. The blazing dragon, whose entire body was burning with primordial spirit flames, opened its mouth and roared in all directions of the bloody continent, releasing an endless primordial spirit dragon roar. Bang! 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 Sonic booms rumbled as a terrifying energy storm came from the Hell Star system. Lin Chen took a step forward and swung his fist to meet the attack. His fist shook the galaxy and his leg was like a dragon, breaking the 9 heavens with a single step. Countless Fiend King's attacks were blown apart by Lin Chen. Lin Chen's fist shattered the river of stars and his leg swept through the universe. His pure strength was like a divine dragon descending into the world, destroying everything in his path. He even used the power of his primordial spirit, the pure strength of his divine body's flesh shell, and didn't even use a few cultivation techniques to completely destroy the huge attacks of the entire fiend race's upper echelons. Lin Chen's pure strength had exceeded the range of 50 million supremes. He was a true quasi-god physique refiner. And this was under the premise that he didn't use the war god set. Damn, why is this kid so fierce? He can actually shatter all the attacks of the Grand Priestess and us head-on? He's an expert. We're no match for him. Then why aren't we leaving? Leave my ass. He can suppress us, but isn't he just a plate of loose sand? That's not how you fight. Grand Priestess Yi, try to cut his middle. Cut my ass, I can't even see his shadow. The bloody continent and the nearby stars were in an uproar. Countless fiend race's army began to fly out, but they were in a mess, completely fighting blindly. Inside the Fate Plant pouch, Zi Qianshou and Xiao Ling who were lucky enough to witness this moment, were both dumbfounded. Although the upper echelons of the fiend race couldn't unify, the Lord had actually tied down the entire fiend race's highest combat power with her own strength. Solo against the fiend race? That was too ridiculous. Just as the Grand Priestesses of the various races were about to bring out their stronger killing weapons, stop. When the Empress's cold and majestic voice reverberated in the minds of every fiend race member, many fiend race members immediately stopped fighting. A snow-white wrist that was as delicate as mutton jade appeared in the void like a ghost. Her slender fingers grabbed Lin Chen's arm and stopped him. The Empress's figure appeared, and Lin Chen's eyes flashed for a moment. She was wearing a loose black robe, a cloak, and a veil. Her true appearance couldn't be seen, as if it would always be like this. The Empress said coldly, "No matter what your origin is, this is not a place where you should be. If you dare to attack again, no matter what secrets you know of this Empress, you will be the next ghost under the Devil's blade. The fiend race is not a place for you humans to behave atrociously." Lin Chen laughed self-deprecatingly. "How cold, Empress?" The Empress's heart trembled inexplicably. Hearing his self-deprecation, she felt a faint stab of pain, and her 5 fingers slightly loosened. Boom! Lin Chen stepped on the cloud shadow, his body riding the heavenly light, and broke free from her restraints, rushing in the direction of the Fiend God King's remains. He still had a lot of things to say to Luo Yaoer, and he wished he could pull her over and tell her everything. But now that she couldn't remember him, everything was nonsense. Lin Chen wanted to destroy the Fiend God King's remains first. "You!" The Empress was furious, and the Fiend Kings of the Bloody Continent rose into the sky one after another, wanting to join the battle with the Empress. The Empress said in a deep voice, "All of you, retreat. There is no room for you to fight here. You will only affect this Empress's strength here. Whatever happens next, leave it to this Empress and the 4 great elders." The Grand Priestesses and the Fiend Kings looked at each other and knelt on one knee to accept the order. Yes, this subordinate accepts the order. After instructing, the Empress's figure flashed and chased after Lin Chen. Lin Chen activated his movement technique at full speed. His current cultivation was particularly terrifying, and his movement technique's speed had risen, far surpassing Shaolin Er's current spatial divine technique. With a movement of his movement technique, he moved 1,000,000 miles in an instant, exceeding the speed of light in an instant. The 4 great elders of the demonic race control the Hell Galaxy. It's impossible for them not to know that the ancient Taizhou dragon has fallen here. Lin Chen's primordial spirit consciousness quickly deduced. Now that the demonic race's situation was unified, their target was the human race. Logically speaking, immediately unifying and gathering forces to attack the human race was the right choice. This choice should be beneficial to all the demonic race. There was no reason for the 4 great elders to delay the meeting with Luo Yaoer until now. Attacking the higher-ups of the demonic race was unrealistic, and Yaoer was there to protect them. Faint 9-colored starlight rotated in Lin Chen's palm, his saint acupoints shook, and the source of sacred power condensed. Lin Chen sneered. When these 4 old things saw the remains of the Demon God King, it was like an abandoned child finding a wild father by the roadside. They want to monopolize this thing, but Brother Chen won't let them. I'll blast them to smithereens first. One. Lin Chen's palm was enshrouded in magnificent 9-colored starlight, spinning slightly above his palm like a wheel. When the world-destroying fluctuations faintly transmitted out, it was shocking. Almost in the blink of an eye, Lin Chen arrived at the chaotic battle between the 4 great elders and the Demon God King's remains. At this time, the Demon God King's remains were at a disadvantage, suppressed by the 4 great elders. The 9-colored starlight rotating wheel condensed in an instant. Lin Chen swung out with one hand, and the 9 tribulations stars flashed out of his hand. Chi. An extremely dazzling 9-colored starlight cut through the night sky, heading straight for the Demon God King's remains. The 4 great elders' expressions changed slightly. Human race. Chapter 1791. 9 Tribulations Star. With a wave of his hand, Lin Chen threw out the 9 Tribulations constellation and sent it flying. Chi. An extremely dazzling 9-colored starlight streaked across the night sky, heading straight for the Demon God King's remains. Things happened too quickly. The 4 revered elders' attention was still on the Demon God King's remains, so they didn't immediately notice Lin Chen's approach. Although Lin Chen's current cultivation was very terrifying, in front of the demon god king's remains and the 4 revered elders, everything was still unknown. One had to know that the 4 revered elders were at the same level as human true gods. Ordinary battle techniques and cultivation techniques were useless against creatures of this level. Unless Lin Chen also reached the level of true gods, if he made a move, he would be leaving openings for the opponent. It was fine if he didn't make a move, but once he did, he had to use his trump card. With Lin Chen's current cultivation, even a peak quasi-god would have to treat the 9 tribulations star seriously. At this time, dark red blood chains wrapped around the pitch-black demonic tail, tightly binding it. The blood-colored head formed by consciousness was imprisoned, constantly twisting and roaring in anger. Demonic blood flowed, and demonic energy filled the sky. Every drop of demonic blood seemed to contain thousands of demons, and could create a demon venerable, or even a heavenly demon venerable. Just as revered Elder Silver Scorpion and the other 3 revered elders forcefully restrained the demon god king's remains. His vast and imposing demonic body turned, and a section of his scorpion tail shone with silver light, facing Lin Chen's 9 tribulations star with an evil smile. Petty tricks, wishful thinking. Before he finished speaking, the 9 tribulations star that streaked across the night sky trembled, and in an instant it split into 5. What? Revered Elder Silver Scorpion's mouth twitched. Splitting into 5, and the power didn't decrease? There was such an ultimate technique? As a revered elder of the demon race, even I can't use it. Myriad poison miasma. Revered Elder Silver Scorpion opened his mouth and spat out a large amount of poison, covering the sky. The 9 tribulations star crashed into the poison. Boom, boom, boom. 9 colored starlight that reached heaven and earth bloomed, illuminating the entire Hell galaxy. 5 magnificent and majestic 9-colored light pillars bloomed like 5 star spears that pierced through the dimensions. They rotated slowly and silently devoured all energy. When the apocalyptic energy ripples spread out, just a little bit of the ripples was enough to shake a large number of celestial bodies in the center of the Hell galaxy, quietly turning them into dust. Lin Chen was sent flying by the aftermath of the impact. He took a few steps in the air and stabilized himself. What a powerful force! God slayers will always be gods. In the next moment, a crazed and sharp light flashed through Lin Chen's eyes. A series of attribute light balls flashed under the starry sky. The appearance of the attribute light ball meant that someone was injured. Now, Lin Chen stomped on the ground and activated Ambilight. His body flashed in the sky. The Empress, who had just caught up, had a slight change in her expression. Human, stop your actions immediately. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. The Empress coldly rebuked Lin Chen, shaking the starry sky. Lin Chen turned his head and said with a face full of disbelief, "You actually yelled at me?" The Empress was speechless. This person, why was he so shameless? She gave him face, but he didn't want it? Facing the 4 revered elders, she directly drew her sword without saying a word. He was the only one who had warned one person so many times. Lin Chen casually threw a sentence at her. "Believe it or not, I'm helping you now." Rumble. Lin Chen formed hand seals, and the 132 hexagonal stars on his body flashed intensely. They were as bright as the stars and as bright as the sun. His sacred power started to crazily condense. The Empress's pupils shrank. What was he trying to do? All of his sacred power was actually starting to riot. In a few flashes, Lin Chen swept to the top of the demonic god king's remains. Lin Chen's palm was surrounded by 5 lantern-like 9-colored star clusters. His face was pale, but he was extremely excited. The 9 tribulations star's light pillar was torn apart by the 4 revered elders. Amidst the shattered and magnificent starlight, the 4 revered elders' angry shouts reverberated. Just a human brat who hasn't become a god. Get out here. Our demonic god race is not a place where scum like you can barge in and mess things up. Before destroying the human race's sacred boundary, I'll start with you, young man. Among the 4 revered elders, only revered Elder Silver Scorpion showed a trace of injury. He, who was originally suppressing the demonic god king's remains, was distracted by Lin Chen's main attack. This was the first time in countless eras that he was injured. Revered Elder Silver Scorpion bared his teeth and said viciously, "Catch that brat, I'm going to." Lin Chen's laughter sounded. "What are you going to do to me? You 4 old fogies, you can protect me once, but can you protect me a second time?" As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Chen's gaze locked onto the enchanting revered elder with a human face and a snake's body. "Enough, I won't let you do whatever you want anymore." With a soft sigh, when space was distorted, her slender hands were soft as if they were boneless, and her fingertips were surrounded by a purplish-black demonic light. She gently grabbed at Lin Chen. At that moment, the space around Lin Chen seemed to be frozen. Even someone as strong as Lin Chen couldn't move. Lin Chen smiled mysteriously and whistled frivolously. "I, Lin Chen, will always like Luo Yao." Behind Lin Chen, the Empress's shoulders trembled slightly, but she didn't stop moving. Host has selected target. Consume 50 million top-grade talent points to activate Shadow Shift talent. Whoosh! Lin Chen's figure trembled, and the space changed. An orange light flashed. The Empress saw with her own eyes that the young man in front of her had turned into one of the 4 revered elders, revered Elder Dragon Snake. Where did he go? The Empress and revered Elder Dragon Snake were shocked by Lin Chen's means once again. When they looked around, they realized that he was actually at revered Elder Dragon Snake's previous position. The 3 revered elders were shocked to the core by Lin Chen's position swap. In a flash, Lin Chen snapped his fingers and detonated the Annihilation Star Cluster in his hand. Annihilation, Star Explosion. The infernal star system flashed with a brilliant light that was like the eruption of star veins. The next moment, rumble, boom, boom, boom. More than half of the Hell Star system shook violently. An unprecedented energy storm swept through the central area of the Hell Star system. Countless stars were affected and turned into dust. The 4 revered elders were forced to retreat. Revered Elder Silver Scorpion was the most seriously injured. After being attacked for the second time, his injuries were even more severe. Like a chain reaction, Lin Chen's Annihilation and Destructive Explosion talents were triggered. This was Lin Chen's first time using Annihilation, Star Explosion in his true form, and in the form of a God Slayer. However, the price to pay was that Lin Chen's Saint energy was gone. His true form was not an illusion. An illusion only needed runes to recover Saint points, but his true form could not. To recover the Saint points, it would take him at least 500 years to do so. Therefore, this star explosion would cause Lin Chen to be unable to use his Saint points in battle. It's so uncomfortable. This is the feeling of having my Saint points emptied. I don't want to experience it a second time. Lin Chen gritted his teeth. But it's okay. That's not the only trump card I have. Whoosh! A ray of divine light shone on heaven and earth, and the golden light of the God of War shone in the universe. Lin Chen's body was shrouded in divine light. The divine light danced like dragons, and the clouds rose. His strength soared. God of War set activate. This time, Lin Chen activated the God of War set with 50 million revered points of strength. This would allow the 5-piece God of War set to reach an unprecedented height. Chapter 1792. Oh no, we won't be able to protect this demonic tail. Let's protect ourselves first. The three honorable elders closest to the center of the annihilation star explosion had no choice but to retract their demonic aura back into their demonic bodies to defend against Lin Chen's star explosion. When the dark red blood chains broke, the demonic God King's corpse regained its freedom. However, it was also hit by Lin Chen's annihilation star explosion. The terrifying energy had completely torn apart its broken scales. Oh no, he has used up all of his sacred power. A hint of panic appeared on the beautiful face under the veil. The female empress sensed that Lin Chen had used all of his power in that attack. He had used up all of the sacred power in his 132 sacred points. She knew very well what losing all of his sacred power meant to a sage. However, before the empress could even find Lin Chen's figure, bam! Air currents collapsed, hurricanes rose, galaxies disintegrated, golden light scattered, and endless divine light illuminated the starry sky. When the female empress looked over, she was stunned for a moment. A series of explosions erupted from the massive demonic tail. Endless golden light overflowed, and rays of dazzling divine light shot out. The tall figure clad in golden armor rained down his fists like a torrential downpour. The fists were ferocious and invincible, and they sent the demonic God King's corpse flying into the 9 heavens. Bam! 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 Each of Lin Chen's fists was filled with divine power that could stir up galaxies, and the demonic God King's corpse was torn apart. The shock waves from the collision of their fists were like terrifying storms in the universe. As the aftershocks of the fists shot out, they melted stars and shattered star cores wherever they passed. From afar, it was like a dazzling firework in a sea of stars. The fists opened up 3,000 worlds, and the god of war suppressed the universe. This attack was one of the billions of divine powers of the god of war. The 4 honorable elders were dumbfounded when they saw this. The massive demonic God King's corpse was torn apart. Host has received 950,000 high-tier saint-level blood essence, 230,000 high-tier saint-level essence, 42. 2 million top-tier heavens path points, 22 million saint-level rune energy. The demon God King's corpse crazily dropped a huge amount of elemental balls. The attributes were so high that Lin Chen had never seen anything like this before. Even the HP attribute he dropped had become advanced sacred. The high drop in attribute points stimulated Lin Chen's punching speed to increase by a notch. After the previous battle, all 5 pieces of the God of War set had already been charged to 99%. After the Ares set was 90% charged, every 1% increase was extremely difficult. In addition, Lin Chen was equipped with the Godslayer armor. His pure strength was enough to shake a true god. This was the true meaning of divine power. Lin Chen laughed heartily. Awesome! This is the pure power of a true god. It's too damn satisfying. This was the first time Lin Chen possessed a power that could rival a true god. It was not as simple as the buff from the Ares set. Most importantly, it was the terrifying buff from the advanced Orange God Slayer talent. After all, this was the power that he had exchanged with all the higher-ups of the demon race. Superimposed on the Ares set, he had broken through the final barrier. Otherwise, Lin Chen would not be able to reach such a level of pure strength if he used the Ares set in his normal state. Bam! 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 Lin Chen swung his fists wildly. Each punch penetrated the demon god king's corpse's defense. Previously, the 4 revered elders had considered its value. Even if they injured it, it was mainly to imprison it. Lin Chen would not be polite with it. His attacks were filled with killing intent. Lin Chen punched through the giant tail again. Blood and flesh burst open. Gee! The demon god king's corpse let out a sharp scream. The demon race on the bloody continent felt an inexplicable throb. Break! Lin Chen pulled with both hands. His divine power exploded. Chi! Rip! The demon god king's corpse cracked all over. Giant python-like cracks instantly spread. The entire demon tail could not withstand the heavy blow and was torn in half by Lin Chen. Lin Chen's Dragon King released its dragon tail and swept all the attribute light balls in the sky. A treasure chest with a greenish-yellow glow fell into the void. Lin Chen grabbed it with one hand. Host has received a Godhead attribute treasure chest. Opened to receive. Energy Godhead, Immortal Godhead Fragment, 2/3. It can heal injuries instantly and become immortal. Lin Chen's eyes lit up. As expected of the Demon God King's corpse. It had not died yet and it had already dropped such a top-grade treasure. The second Immortal Godhead Fragment was in his hands. Stop. Don't let this kid continue to do whatever he wants. Demon True Form. Seeing this, the 4 revered elders were completely enraged. Boom. The monstrous pressure was like a brilliant demonic aura, swallowing heaven and earth. Among the 4 revered elders, 2 had actually revealed their true forms. The demon true form was a realm that only the 4 revered elders could use. Once used, it meant that they had to use their true combat strength. Even the demon emperors did not dare to underestimate the demon true form of the 4 revered elders of the demon race. The millions of feet true form was as majestic as a star. Revered Elder Silver Scorpion's true form was like a ruthless and cruel silver scorpion. Revered Elder Dragon Snake's true form was a 2-headed dragon snake. One head was a dragon and the other was a snake. It swallowed and spat out a storm like the sun and moon. Phantom Doppelganger. The phantom light descended one after another. Lin Chen dared to fight, but he was also clear-headed. The moment the 4 revered elders aimed at him, he immediately urged the phantom doppelganger to collect the attribute light balls dropped by the 4 revered elders for him. Dragon Snake Storm. Revered Elder Dragon Snake opened his bloody mouth, and a breath turned into a 1,000,000 feet storm. Dragons and snakes danced wildly, and the evil aura was monstrous. A terrifying pressure rolled over. This was the first time Lin Chen felt the combat strength of a human true god pressing down on him. Old fogies of the demon race, I want to see how strong you are. Lin Chen's eyes shone with golden light. His shoulders shook, and a layer of divine light enveloped his body. Golden body of the god of war. Lin Chen urged the god of war set's characteristic. The demon king's remains did not chase after him. Instead, it turned around and punched toward revered Elder Dragon Snake. Chi. Rumble. The fist wind pierced through the galaxy and was evenly matched with revered Elder Dragon Snake. Revered Elder Silver Scorpion crawled and moved at lightning speed. He stepped on a sharp silver light and swept toward Lin Chen. Just as Lin Chen was about to exchange blows with revered Elder Silver Scorpion, "Be careful, my lord!" Zi Qianqiu and Xiao Ling suddenly exclaimed. Whoosh! Space distorted, and a blade light flashed. The blood-red blade light split heaven and earth. It flashed like a ghost, jumped through the void, and slashed toward Lin Chen from behind, directly hitting him. Clang! 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 The blade light twisted, and Lin Chen's body exploded with the sound of metal colliding. When Lin Chen vomited blood, the golden body of the god of war around him dimmed and lost its color. His entire body fell from the sky like a meteor, forcing Lin Chen to retreat with one move. The great empress of the demon race had personally made a move. She had been observing, just now. When Lin Chen was blasted away by the blade, revered Elder Silver Scorpion wanted to chase after him, but the great empress of the demon race blocked him and said coldly, "Leave him to me. You guys are in charge of dealing with that demonic creature." After speaking, she did not wait for revered Elder Silver Scorpion to agree and chased after Lin Chen. "Silver Scorpion, don't bother about that kid first. That damn bottom line is about to split and escape," revered Elder Dragon Snake coldly shouted. The 4 revered elders did not chase after Lin Chen with the great empress. Their eyes met and instead, they chased after the heavily injured Demon King's remains. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.